step off the plane, check in. Penthouse suite, check in. When your feet hit the street, check in. Cause if not, shit get hot, you better check it in.
Hey, always welcome. One of the legends all over the world. One of the greatest to ever be refined, defined art. Described. Legendary Ice-T. World star checking in.
You got to check in. I think checking in is the smartest thing in the world, especially if you know somebody.
Yeah.
You know, check in. It's an honor, you man, just to see your growth and watch what you're doing. I'm with everything you're doing. You already know.
Appreciate it, man. I just want to say too to the world that don't know, this my big homie right here. It's somebody I've been looking up to from first walking into Crenshaw High School, 10th grade. And I remember the legend, man. You know, the man, the myth, the look with the gold chain, with the whipped hair, with the standing there, had a Porsche, everything that we was little kids talking about, I'm gonna get one of them cars one day. Ice had it.
Yeah, well, I'm much older than you. See, I would be up at Crenshaw, but I had graduated in 1976. Right. So that's with your friends Nelsy and different people, you know, that I grew up with from the neighborhood. You know, but you know, we heard of you as you start making your moves. Everybody's like, there's this one dude that's up at the skating rink knocking niggas out. They call him Big U, and he's a street fighter, and people don't know that about you.
Well,
they know now. That was way back.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you had World on Wheels where everything was popping, which was in Playboyhood.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys would go up there and challenge. How did I'm interviewing him now.
Right.
I just want to know, since I'm finally getting, you know, we talking. How did them shits pop off?
Shit, I think it was the 80s, man. It was like 1980 when 1980, 81 we started going up there. And
how old were you?
I was what, 15?
15, this big.
14. We was like 14, 15, just getting to high school. But the journey was how we had to get prepared, man. We had to crease our clothes. We had to crease the jeans down.
Yep, 501.
501s. Starch.
Yep, Croker sacks. You know, the Crips had a certain kind of look. They would wear they actually would cuff their jeans on the outside. Sometimes they had the Croker sacks, and sometimes the OG Crips, earliest Crips I ever saw, had the suspenders hanging down, and sometimes the Ace Deuce with a hairnet on it, or the golf cat with the remember the golf cat had the golf little things.
The golf club.
Jump off and you know, bomber jacket, official, maybe some nylon underwear, whatever. But you know, when I met the Crips, I came from L.A. when I was in junior high. My mother and father passed, and I moved into View Park up Angeles Vista up there, and that's upper middle class Los Angeles.
Right.
They bused us to Palms in Culver City. So I did 3 years at Palms, but then I didn't want to bus anymore. I wanted to walk to Crenshaw, which was right down the street, right over the wall. And I'm like, God damn, you know, when I got there was Bishops, there was Brims, and there was just Crips, you know. But the Crips and the Bloods were all there at the same time, and I had never really seen the gangs.
Right.
Most of the gang kids came from Horace Mann, and some had came from Audubon. And I was like, yo, now, coming from the hills, ain't no gang up there at that time. Now, what's that, Back Hood?
No, it's Overhills.
Overhills, okay.
Overhills.
But at that time, there wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was inserted into Crenshaw High School in the 9th grade. And my first encounter with a gang, Gary Danson, a Van Ness boy, was in the gym. As soon as I got there, I wanted to get swole. As soon as I got there, I was like, I was going to penitentiary. I'm like, man, I got to get some size. I was lighting the ass. So I'm in the weight room, and Gary Danson came in there, and for some reason when he jumped on the bench, I wanted to make it sound like a fart. That nigga took me off into the little area between the gym and the weight room and the locker room. This little,
yes, a little door right there.
Little L.
Yeah, a little door.
Nigga said, hit me in my chest. I'm like, yo, this nigga's chest was like this. I'm like, I'm not finna hit this nigga. He said, steal on me, nigga. And So I was like, come on, man, what's that? Nigga said, boom, he hit me in my leg, boom. Like, this is a big buff, real live gangbanger, right? Boom, hit me like that. I was like, yo. He said, boom, hit me in my chest. And I was like, And he said, watch who the fuck you talking to, nigga. This is Van S gang, nigga, dancing, nigga. And then he just mobbed out. Nigga had on Romeos. And I was like, so
what
now,
year was that?
this was 1973. So he just tuned me up like a little nigga, boom, boom. And then he walked down. Now, when I came back into the weight room, all them niggas like, is you crazy? Do you know who that nigga was? I'm like, yo, he's a killer. I said, well, he didn't kill me, but shit, I survived, but I'm aching like a motherfucker. So that's my first encounter with a real live G, you know?
Right.
And at that point, I learned the rules, man. You know, don't play around niggas that can fuck you up. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, then I just had my journey through Crenshaw High School.
Because, see, that was right there at the time that Crenshaw, like, gangs was just really starting to come. It wasn't even really, like, it wasn't really no separation at that time.
There were no Bloods. There were just Brims.
Yeah.
It was Brims. And the Inglewood family had just, one day they came up to Crenshaw and tagged the whole school up. And I tell people that ain't from L.A., everything that's not a Crip is a Blood or a Brim by default.
Right.
All Crip gangs have Crip connected to it. West Side Crip, East Coast Crip, you know, Rolling 60 Crips. But Bounty Hunters, Pyrus, Afton Park Boys, Denver Lanes, they don't say Blood. They just gangs, separate gangs. But they're all Bloods by
Because they
default.
weren't Crips.
Because there's so many Crips.
Yeah. And then so it don't get mixed up because a lot of lanes will take what's said and he ain't saying nobody wasn't nothing or they became nothing. Basically, at the time, if you wasn't classified as a Crip, when it got colors, it changed. Because I remember when I was younger, and at that time, 79, everybody used to say Blood.
Yeah.
Everybody said Blood. Young Blood. It was just a terminology.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, about 79, 78, when the colors started really getting attached to one side to another side.
Yes, sir.
That's when you start seeing people start getting more separated.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I think by the time I got to Crenshaw, like early 80s, because we was going up there, and I was still in the 7th, 8th grade. we used to come to Crenshaw. I was in the 7th grade, and just to hang out, just to be at Crenshaw.
Yeah. And
it started getting separated. I was just like, you can't say Blood no more.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a Crip over here, then I think Crenshaw started, when it got like that, it got more defined, and then it became a Crip school.
Right.
After about, I think 80, 81, it really became
any other set just moved out.
Yeah.
And then it was all Crips, and, you know, so like a lot of people would ask me, they'd like, well, it was a big thing. As I see a 60, I'm like, no, I'm not a 60. I never jumped into any gang, but I'm familiar with the 60s because I went to Crenshaw and those. So like if I write, like in Squeeze the Trigger, I say from the Rolling 60s to the Nickerson G's, Pueblos, Grape Street. This is what I see. The Jungle, the 30s, the VNG. I would bounce them from Crip to Blood set, but I always start with the 60s because I'm most familiar with the 60s. Right. So, and when I started rapping, right, early in my career, I realized, like, if you became a gang member and it's like, now you just made the rest of the city your enemy. So when I came out rapping, it was not smart to claim a set.
Right.
It wasn't smart because, to me, gangbangers were people that were never going to make a record. They were just going to come see you. And so I didn't want that beef. So I just decided I'm just going to put the West Coast on my back. So I would sometimes take pictures in red. Sometimes let's keep it twisted. Because actually, I was running around as a player. I was all over. I was on the bottom with the Bloodstone Villains over there with Termite and them cats, and I would be in the over in the jungle with Shaft and different people. I just see if you were a lot of players have diplomatic immunity. Like if you're not gang banging, you're not really held to gang rules.
Right. No, it was different. It was just like you said. It was like if you was a player, you could move, but if once you identify, I tell my kids that today, like, you can still be my son and not be affiliated to nothing. Mm-hmm. But once you affiliate yourself to something, now you cut a whole city off. I tell that to people that's doing music, man. You got to know how to maneuver.
Yes.
You know,
and it's not necessary, and it's not necessary to jump into a set, especially if you're in your 20s and you're a millionaire. Like if you're a musician, I see a lot of these musicians connecting to gangs. I'm like, that's ridiculous. You know,
it kind of changed though, man, because like, it almost, because how LA is, it's almost like at one period you can kind of move. It's moving away from it. You had to be affiliated with something if you was coming.
Affiliated, but not jump in the set.
Yeah, but I mean, because I kind of see it. Like I see youngsters right now today who come in, and if you don't check in,
right,
which gets to this, and you don't understand the rules of a city, and you come in that city, then you can be falling victim to whatever happens. So, and I see that happen a lot. And then being like I never understood the pimp culture, right?
Yes.
But it's a whole culture you need to know.
Understand the rules. Well, you talking about cities, we got shot at Mississippi. We got shot at in Arkansas. Like every place you go, there's a neighborhood. There's somebody. And because you LA niggas, they want to prove they tough as us. So, you know, you can get checked anywhere. You know, and checking in is just like, okay, if I'm going to Atlanta and I know people in Atlanta, why not call them and they could just tell me like, yo, ICE, don't go to this club. Shit, they had a shootout there last week. Just give me the lay of the land. When I would go to Chicago, they say, don't wear your hat like this. Don't wear your hat like that. Don't do this. Don't do that. You know, New York cats would come to LA. I'm like, oh, that red nigga, you look like a motherfucking comet. Like, don't do that. I remember one time we were playing at the, remember the Celebrity Theater? So I got Africa Islam, Son of Bambaataa, Zulu Nation. Now, Zulu sign is this. So Bloods used to throw this up too, okay, before they start doing this. It's the brim sign. So he got on all red, and we're in Celebrity Theater, it's a circle. It's a stage that turns like a circle. And he's rolling by Grape Street like this. Now, somehow or another, you'll tell you, Grape Street always has the front row of every event. I don't know if somebody works at Ticketron, but them niggas have the front of every concert in LA. Am I lying?
No.
Grape Street. So he's rolling by these niggas, and they like, nigga, yeah. So so Evil, my DJ, like, yo, they gonna snatch Iz off the stage. So I roll over to him. I said, them niggas is really about it. I don't know any of them niggas, right? So I'm like, that red shit is bothering them. In the middle of the show, homie went off the stage and changed his outfit.
And that was smart.
Yeah, because it's the way it is. It's just the way it is. It's not being a punk. It's just being smart.
Right. And not to offend somebody. Because in the translation, because at that time, people didn't understand the colors.
Yes.
And they didn't understand the color. But what bring me to you to ask the question. When you came from Jersey to LA,
yes,
at 13, what was the difference? Because you just said earlier you really hadn't met the gangs till you got to Crenshaw.
Right. I'm living in View Park, so just LA kids it's just more separate. You know, like LA's more separate. If you're out here, you're on top of everybody. So my best friend lived like like a couple of blocks over and up. You know, and there was one girl in our neighborhood who was a criplet. You know, she had hooked up with somebody from the avenues and stuff like that. I actually went to a crip meeting with her in Centinela Park, which was an amazing experience with Tookie and Cutes and Rusty and Big Boy. But, you know, this is when the gangbangers were huge. Like you was huge, but he knows what I'm talking about. They looked like they was buffed. You know, Jamel and all them was up there, have a nigga rubbing lotion on them and all kinds of shit. And I was with her, but I didn't really dig LA because I didn't have any friends. You know, I didn't know anybody and stuff. And then when I went to Palms, the white girls love black people. You know, so it was like, hey, we would get off the bus like the Jackson 5 over there. They were like, yeah. But I just got tired of riding that bus. And when I walked to Crenshaw, that's when I realized I got to change my dress code. I went out and got me some Levi's. I went out, you know, got me some Croker sacks. You know, you could just, you end up basically dressing like the gangs.
Right.
You know, and then I knew Anthony Hatchett. I knew.
You know Big Ant.
Yeah, I knew them. They were in school with me. Ansley Hatchet, Carlos, Babyface. A lot of them cats were in my Lapicus, Mayfield, Jawbone, who was they were in my homeroom. So I was just around them niggas. But then, you know, if they're your friends, they're your friends. Right. You know what I'm saying? So that was Crenshaw at that time, and growing up there. Somebody else that people don't know, there's a guy that I was just talking to him today. You know Michael T. Williams is? Michael T. Williams, he's an actor. He was in Heat. He went to Crenshaw too. And he was gangster back then.
Was he?
Yeah, and now he's a big actor. He was in he just was on one of the Law and Orders, but look him up. He called him McKelty. His real name is Michael T. Williamson, and we used to call him Hot Dog. He was actually a locker too.
Wow.
And
that's another thing. Because I want to tell y'all, all the names he just mentioned are real, actual street dudes who was really instrumental. Babyface, Nelsy, who was really instrumental in what LA became, and that generation he talked about is younger than Tookie now. So it's the Tookie generation, then it's their generation.
Yeah.
Then I'm a generation under the generation under them.
Did I ever tell you? Did you see in Gangland? I told my Tookie story.
Nah, I was gonna ask you about. I want to ask. I want to hear your story. I want to hear what you about Tookie and Raymond Washington.
I never met Raymond Washington.
Never met him.
Never met Raymond Washington. Raymond Washington was the inventor of the Crips.
Right.
So I mean I don't know. Raymond was more like a ghost. Very rarely people would actually see Raymond. Tookie. That's why people think Tookie was the leader of the Crips, because Tookie was the most visual.
Yeah.
But I was living on 24th Street and off of Normandy.
So, but how old was you then?
18, 19. And I had my own apartment. I had a girlfriend. And I was in the house lifting weights, buffing, and she came in the house. She had on some little Daisy Duke. She came in the house. Niggas out there being real disrespectful. My girlfriend's name was Adrian. That's my daughter's mother. Being real disrespectful.
It's not.
Huh?
It's not the album cover.
No, that's Darlene. That's little Ice's mom.
Yeah, we don't get back.
That's little Ice's mom. But no, Adrian, A was from Hoover. She lived on 73rd in Vermont, where Hoover was. So this is how you end up affiliated with gangs. Because to meet a girl, next thing you know that whole set.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they didn't fuck with me because I came over there and some fila and got them niggas some things. And players, we had access to different things that the gang members didn't. And if they like you, you good. So anyway, she comes in the house, some niggas outside being disrespectful. So I think I'm on swole. I came out the house, sitting in a yellow lowrider with Tookie, right? Driving. Tookie. Some other nigga. Now, Tookie used to wear his hair in his fucking, like, pompano. Like, he would tie his scarf up and it was, and him and some other nigga in the back. It's like the most grimy niggas I ever seen. And they looking at me. I ran back in the house like, bitch, why you had that on? Are you crazy? Them niggas, what the fuck? I looked at that car, I was like, ah! Like, the nightmare, like the worst, most dangerous niggas in LA was outside. I'm not checking them at all. I ran inside, checked her. And that was my adventure coming close to death fucking with Tookie and them. Because they just knock niggas out. That's back in the days when gangbangers would just knock you out. They wouldn't shoot you.
We had a story. I mean, I used to hear rumors about Tookie, man, when we was little. And we used to hear that Tookie was so buff that you couldn't shoot him. That if you shot him, the bullets wouldn't go in. I mean, so we like
the legend. That's the legend.
You know what I mean? Because he's like, man, don't even shoot. You can't even shoot Tookie. You know, and we had never seen it. You know, I didn't meet Tookie till I met Tookie. I was on my way to prison in 1992. He came down for a custody hearing, and we was in High Power together. Wow. And that's when I met him, and we kicked it he was down there for about a month. I was in one cell block on one side, he was on the other side, and we used to talk through the vent, because that was after the incident with him and Lil Fee.
When Lil Fee took off on him.
Lil Fee and them took off on him, yeah. And so we had built a bond, and he was like, yeah, homie, if they kill me, make sure you come to my funeral. I'm like, bro, if they kill you, I'm gonna come. If I'm
What
home.
made Lil Fee decide to take off on Tookie? That was crazy. The crazy thing about California prisons, if you a street nigga, you heard everything that goes on inside the pen.
Nah, it was a difference. Okay, so let me. Do you know the story?
No.
You know that? Okay, so Lil Fee and it was Lil Fee, C-Dub, and Horace who caught the case.
Who caught the case and went in the wrong house?
They went in the wrong house.
Mm-hmm.
So when Fee got to death row first,
Mm-hmm.
and with Tookie and all that, when C-Dub got to death row, they was on C-Dub about the paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
And about something in the paperwork saying C-Dub supposed to say something or not.
Mm-hmm.
But the rule with us is because you could be my homeboy enemy and say something wrong with my homeboy. Mm-hmm. So we had a rule that no, we discipline our own. Mm-hmm. If we there and we could just run on, we're gonna just run on because niggas be up from prison gangs, niggas be CCOs, Blue Notes and all that. And that's when the CCO and Blue Notes was starting to go hard. Mm-hmm. So took it upon itself and I guess trusting even them to have an order to hit C-Dub. But you can't step on our toes and hit on our homeboys and we there. We're going to deal with our own. How we going to deal with it? So they moved on C-Dub. So I guess it was like 3 or 4 dudes moved on C-Dub on the yard. C-Dub whooped everybody that moved on him, took their knives, them on C-Dub like my side. But, you know, we come from the hood. It's all about squadron. So I think C-Dub only ended up with a scratch, but all the rest of them is fucked up. So the next day, when they come out to the yard, Lil Fee do what he supposed to do. He demoed on Took. Because you can't call no shot on one of our homeboys. If I allow you to call a shot on one of our homeboys, then I find out later on that it was jealousy or a fake movement or something. Yeah. So bullshit. Now I'm responsible for that. So what's the best way to do? We take care of our own. You know what I'm saying?
So when it hits the streets, that doesn't hit. Just Lil Fee try to hit Tuck.
Yeah.
And we were like, word? And that sounded outrageous to a cat. I used to see Took, now when we were out growing up, they would come to parties, like they would have they had events like in Veterans Auditorium and stuff, dances like Uncle Jams. Them niggas would just step on the stage and start posing, like step on the stage and just start.
Right.
And nobody said shit.
but see now, let me describe Lil Fee though. Lil Fee, my height.
Right.
Me, Lil Fee.
Light skin like me.
Light skinned like you, my height, but he did martial arts growing up like I did.
Oh, okay.
So he could have, and then you got to remember, Took was about 4 inches, 3 inches shorter than Lil Fee. So you talking about.
It was a fair situation.
Nah, it would have might have worn more Feeway. Because Loke is Loke a squabbler.
Right.
Loke is known for being a squabbler.
Right.
You know what I mean? And Loke is bigger.
Right.
So
is Fee ever going to get a date?
So the laws of California changed.
Right.
And he go to quagmire. So they're saying that now that a person could not get life couldn't get life sentence of life in prison before he was 19 years old. So they changed the laws and they're trying to give everybody who got life in prison before the age of 21. Well, Loke was 18 when he caught his murder case.
Right.
So now he's a quagmire. They don't definitely want to give him a chance because of his circumstance of his case. Right. So now they got to fight their own law. So if you can't get nobody life in prison who's before the age of 19 or 20, he's 18. How can you give him death? Wow. So now in California, that situation.
Is he on death row or he got what?
No, he on death row. He had it was what was it? 4 murders. So, but here go the crazy part. He never.
I'm not laughing at 4 murders, but it's just like, yo.
Yeah, he never.
4 murders.
But this is the thing though. They never actually found him. I mean, he never actually fought the case.
Right.
And because it was so crazy, they came out with some technology saying that they had found fingerprints at the scene of him, right? When in actuality at that time, they hadn't even perfected fingerprint technology. They're just now coming back, maybe last 15, 20 years to perfect the actual fingerprint technology. So the things they used against him was more hearsay, and it was somebody else who had called a weapon who fit the description of him, who said it was him.
You know what it is, you? It's like I try to tell niggas right now, don't go to jail, man.
Right.
Because we would go to jail and bail out or give them an alias and jump and get to the left, and they wasn't holding niggas as tight. Now you may never come home. That first strike, you catch 2 inside. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I've always been like, don't test that system, man. If you can avoid it, and niggas is wild. And like you saying, Fee was 18. I always ask people, I'm like,
he was 18.
think back when you were 18. Everybody in this room, think back when you were 18. Tell me what percentage of the shit you thought at 18 was correct.
Right.
You were basically insane at 18.
He was actually 17.
You know what I'm saying? So the decisions you're making, and when I talk in Sing Sing, most of the guys in there doing 40, 50 years went in between 18 and 21.
Right.
That's when they feeding you gunpowder on the streets. Your manhood is being challenged. And I'm with the code, but there's a part of the code I'm not with, which is because someone disrespects you, you should kill them.
Right.
Like, disrespect is one thing. Now, if a nigga's trying to kill you, that's another thing. But just disrespect you, you supposed to go kill this nigga. Like, really? Like, as you get older, you learn how, like we were just talking, you learn how to give out passes. And everything isn't capital. Everything isn't like, okay, homie said what? Kill him. Like, are you kidding me? Mm-hmm. And that'll get you stuck for the rest of your motherfucking life.
You know where that culture came. So when we look at our culture, we tend not to realize, or the powers that be don't tend to realize that we got that from the Western culture. Mm-hmm. And the Western culture was influenced greatly by what we see on TV.
Yeah.
Western movies.
Right.
And that comes from the step on my shoe,
boom,
go shoot you down. Mm-hmm. What they did on the West Coast?
Yeah.
You carrying guns on your hip.
Yeah.
This shit was real. The mentality that we picked up. Mm-hmm. I grew up watching Western movies.
Right.
My biggest superstar, my biggest guy in history was Clint Eastwood.
Me too.
You know what I mean? and we was greatly influenced by that.
Dirty Harry.
Dirty Harry, you know what I'm saying?
Huh?
Yeah.
But
and
I
that
agree.
shit really is what we grew up watching. Like, I want to ask you, because I'm moving out of place, but I'm going to stay here now. So if I want you to just respond. I'm going to throw a movie out to you. And where was you at when this movie, and how do you feel like this movie affects you? Scarface.
Well, when I saw Scarface, I'd already stopped. So I always tell people, Scarface is a glamorous thing about drug dealing, but the thing of it is that I always was into the B side of the game, which is, okay, I just seen you roll by in the Benz, but I don't know you got cases. No, there's always a B side. So I always tell people, like, if you want to hustle, you have to have an exit strategy, because we all saw the last scene of Scarface. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of people want to delete that last scene. They think, oh, okay, I would get away like Tony. Yeah. But I watched it. I enjoyed it. I think it's one of the most incredible movies of all time. But you have to look at the under thing. This guy was a Cuban, came in, made his riches in the dope game, but the dope game started to come back on him. He lost his sister and killed his best friend. It also shows the drama that goes along with that life. Right. So, yeah, I was smart enough to take heed to Scarface versus it putting a battery in my back. Like, I'm finna go out here and be the biggest.
Because he took over West Coast.
Yeah.
It took over us, took over
I got
West
pictures of
Coast.
Scarface in my house. I mean, Scarface is, yeah, that was the shit.
Okay, I got another one for you. Superfly.
Superfly changed my life. First off, I'm a light-skinned nigga with a perm, so I thought I was a priest. I had a partner that was always like, nigga, you got everything. We got the color TV, we were living the American dream. But there's a line in Superfly that changed my life. He said, I got to get out of the streets before I kill a nigga or some sucker ices me. There's a part where he said it. And we all know that the streets end up in that place. Sooner or later, I don't care what hustle you in, eventually it's going to come to gunplay or somebody threatening your life. It's going to come to that point. And I've never been afraid of the hood because I always was able to maneuver, but I'm not really afraid of nobody. I'm afraid of what somebody will make me do, what they'll force me to do. So I just prefer not to be in that environment if I can avoid it. You know, where somebody, because what happens in the hood is niggas will basically issue ultimatums. Nigga, when we see you, nigga, and that doesn't really happen in the real world. People don't threaten your life. That happens in the hood, and I just want it out. I'm not that guy. You know, I'm not the guy that's going to threaten you. I'm not that. I'm a survivor.
Right.
You know, so I always want to be fly. I'm not even though I put out original gangster. It's much more player to Ice-T than gangster.
Right.
And Superfly changed my life, man. That was Priest. He just wanted to make that one last score and get out of the game, and I managed to do it.
Because I seen you talk one time, and you was talking about the decisions, and I know how I feel to leave one, because I got kicked out of California, and at an early age because of crimes. So I went to Central Juvenile Hall. They couldn't find me guilty of all the stuff that they had charged me with, so they sent me to Chicago, and so I understand how it feels. When I'm walking to Chicago, 1982, I just had been shot up, just got shot, and I get out there, and first day of school, I go get some 501 starch them down. I got a Pendleton on,
Right.
with the blue rag hanging out my hair. I got the Jerry curl hanging.
Right.
When I get to school, the first thing they ask me, why you just like you going to church? And it's a culture shock because
Chicago's different.
Bro, they asking me about, do I know Michael Jackson? Do I know Arnold and
You from Hollywood.
Yeah, they thinking like Hollywood. I'm like, hey, what? And then it was crazy because it was an insult. Because at that time we throw the hood up, so we throw up 6. I got fingers, pictures, and we throw neighborhood up like this. So we dissing everybody, but in our pictures, this is our culture. So that's what had brought me to want to know, like, how was it when you explained it, and I know for a lot of people that culture shock. And then
I don't honestly, I don't think I really had culture shock till I got to Crenshaw.
Till you got to it.
Till I got to Crenshaw, because what people don't understand, LA is 40 square miles, what I call the killing fields, flat. But most of the time, people get off at the airport, they get on the Santa Monica Freeway, they go to West LA, they cross Wilshire, and they never look back. Most people who've been to LA have never been to South Central LA. I always tell people, I'm like, you want to see LA? Just stay on Century. Just stay on Century. It's going to take you straight to Will Rogers Park. You're going to be right in Nickerson Gardens, right there by Imperial Courts. That's LA. You know, you don't go north. Yeah. So you know, anybody that's from there knows it's definitely a culture shock. The trick to LA is it does not look it. It's not like the South Bronx where it's, you know, abandoned buildings and stuff. Everybody got houses. Everybody got yards. It looks nice.
Where, in LA?
Compared to some ghettos.
Yeah.
Compared to Detroit, compared to some ghettos.
No, this over there, it's theirs just like what you said. Because, see, we grew up in the same place, and they called us the expensive crips. They called us
Rich Rollin'.
You know what I'm saying? So we took on that moniker. So it was different for us because the East Side Crips gonna beg to differ. You know, there's some dudes in the jungle, some dudes in Nickerson and all that. Like, hell no, we ain't had none of that. Nigga, we had to grind to get them niggas over there. So we was the same way.
The niggas from the East Side, the different niggas, they wear sweatsuits and hard shoes. Them niggas that have on some motherfucking shorts with the nylon party socks on. East Side niggas are different. They are really, really different. It's poorer.
Yeah, it's poor.
It's poor. And then Compton, I always try to tell people, Compton's 20 miles out of LA.
Yeah,
Compton,
Long Beach is even further.
It's further. So where Compton got a rep is Compton cats would come to LA, do dirt, and go back, and we never know who it were because they were so far away. Most Compton cats never crossed Manchester.
Right. There's a lot of dudes from Compton and Watts who ain't never really came into LA.
Right.
And then that's true because they can live their whole life and never go to Watts. And then for us, on our side, we never really go east. Like, we was going to Hollywood, Beverly Hills, downtown, and that's how we really did our yoke. Unless we had a girl over there or something, we was going to go chase some money over there.
So dig this. I met a girl in Leimert Park at an event, and she lived on 99th and Success. Success is on the other side of Will Rogers Park, deep in Watts. So I call my dumb ass going over there. So I get on a bus. I go to Century. The Century stops at the park. I had to walk across the park to Success. When you get over to Watts, the street numbers are block printed on the streets, like so the helicopter can see them. So I go over this chick's house. I'm sitting in her house. The further I went into Watts, the less fine she became. I'm like, right, this chick. I go in her house. Not only did she diss me, her boyfriend showed up. She kept him on the porch while I'm sitting inside with her mother, who was talking about, you want something cold to drink, honey? I'm like, Lord have mercy. Why am I way over here? I got so tired, I just walked out of her house, past her and her nigga, just walked out and kept walking. I'm like, I'm just going to keep walking. I'm in the middle of Will Rogers Park. I said, what in the fuck is my West Side ass doing way over here? In L.A., we call that out of bounds. If something happened to me way over there, I don't expect none of my homies to do nothing about it because it's out of bounds. Like, they like, where were you? What was you doing way over there, nigga? That's like, we got no jurisdiction over there. I got my ass on the bus, and that was my last adventure.
You caught the bus over there?
Yeah, the Century bus stopped at the end of the... I was a kid, man. I think I was
on the buses.
Yeah, RTD.
He was on the buses.
I used to throw 3 cards on the bus.
Oh, that's a whole nother story. Well, okay, wait a minute. You was with a 3-card Molly dude.
I could do 3-card Monty. I could do the shells. I can shoot tees. You know what tees are? Where you
I know what tees are.
Niggas don't know what tees are. You know what tees are?
Like Bobby hit us with some tees, and we hemmed his ass up.
You know what a tee is? Is anybody in it? That's when you...
Oh.
This game is old, but tees are 2 sets of dice.
Yeah.
You have 1 set of dice that's real. The second set of dice does not add up to 7. No matter how you put the dice down, you'll see the 6 ace in your face. On the dice, the other side of the dice always adds up to 7. So 4, there'll be a 3. 5, there'll be a 2. 6, there'll be a 1. On a tee, you'll see a 6 and a 1 in your... We say 6 ace in your face, nigga. Like, you're seeing the tees down. So what we do is we shoot the dice... Blam. When I get my point, I switch the dice. I can switch them with one hand under the money, bow, and now the tees are out. There's no way I can lose because these dice don't add up to 7. Right? Now my niggas around me, they betting, they side betting. Then I'll pick the tee up, bam, I'm back out at you. I lose some, win some, firing tees. LA shit. You will get trimmed by a team of niggas that know how to do that.
So let me give him
Bobby got you?
Yeah, Bobby got us one time, man. Bobby got us one time. And then you came up there. So you remember, me, Fat Daddy, and all us. He came up there. He gave all of us $5. You gave all of us $5. And then you put $100 bill down and you said, I'm gonna let y'all shoot to that.
Oh yeah, you'll never break that. You'll never break that. Because
I was smart though. See, when he gave me my
I'm not giving out change. You got to get.
I'm out of here.
Yeah.
I'm to the liquor store, and then because he was such a legend, and he was having so much money, it didn't even bother him. But $5 to us was a whole week. That's a whole month of money. You know what I mean? And then we was shooting 10 cents, 25 cents. We was shooting cents.
Remember when we used to pad roll?
All that.
On a blanket? You ever seen people put a bad blanket down and they pad roll? This is a whole bunch of LA shit, but hustlers were hustlers, and you had to learn every game, and you had to know how to do it and stuff. I could do some things right now that'll fuck your head up, you know? But in the game, you have to raise the risk to raise the profit. So that will make you so much money. Eventually, you're going to have to do something more. If you're selling weed, you're going to end up having to sell hundreds of pounds of weed. That's why when cocaine came, it got scandalous. And I tell people that's when the gangs fragmented.
Yeah, it was.
When coke came, it just...
In 80, 82, 83.
Woo!
82. But like, I want to talk about the hustler Ice T.
Let's talk about it.
Because, like...
Hold up. Okay.
There it is. You know what I mean? Because this is the guy I grew up looking up to. You know what I mean? This was the perm. This was...
Yeah, more wavy than the ships in the Navy. You know what I'm saying? We be at Good Fred's, getting my shit pumped in, 3 times a week, or either at Marshall's, getting it done, trying to stay sharp. To be a player, you have to be sharper than any bitch. You have to look better than her, have better nails, have better clothes, outlook the bitch, so she knows she's dealing above her pay scale. When the bitch sees she gotta say, damn, this is the finest, flyest nigga. What I gotta do to be with this nigga?
So how that happened though? Cause now you cause let me get this right. You come to LA.
Right.
At 13.
Yeah.
You go through the Crenshaw thing.
Right.
And then how do you get to the army?
Because the hustler thing came because I'm not no violent nigga.
But you went to the army though.
No. I'm saying when the player shit came at Crenshaw, I started.
So you was doing the player shit before you went to the army.
I learned about all the niggas. You remember we used to wear tailors?
Yeah, that's all I
get tees, Borsalinos, and I in other words, where you had the gangbangers at Crenshaw, you had hustlers and players and dice shooters and crap shooters. I liked them more because it wasn't as violent. You see what I'm saying? Plus, you gotta remember, I'm not from a neighborhood. So the gangs had 40 cats around them that they grew up with. I'm by myself, so I had to connect to the different cats. So I started hanging out with the players. We used to shoot dice in multi-purpose room. I learned more and more game. I got my girlfriend pregnant. I had a pad when I was 18. Well, my last year at Crenshaw, I left my aunt's house. She was getting money for Social Security for me. I said, bitch, give me that paper and I'm out. I got an apartment on Kansas Avenue near Manual Arts. I was getting $350 in Social Security. I had a $100 a month apartment. I had another $100 I would pay for food, and the $150 I had to spend. And that's when I was 18 years old. I've never been with a living relative since. I went to the guy that owned the apartment. I said, I'm gonna have the check come to you, and you could give me the rest. That's how he trusted me for the rent. My check would come to him. Bam. So I had $150. Of course, my girlfriend, who was in the 10th grade, started hanging out, and she got pregnant. Mm-hmm. I didn't really know a girl could get pregnant that easy. You know what I'm saying? There was no safe sex, no condoms back in the day. I'm busting nuts. I didn't really start busting nuts till the 12th grade. When I was in the 10th and 11th grade, the girls at Crenshaw that were in the 12th were going with niggas that looked like they were 40 years old. I would come outside to the girl that was fucking with me all day, and a nigga in a car pick him up with a beard. I'm like, I'm not getting no. I ain't getting no parts of no pussy. So when I got to the 12th grade, I finally had an action at getting some action. So I got my girl pregnant, and we was hustling, but it wasn't really making. You might hold $5,000 or $10,000, but never no real paper. And I said, man, I got to be responsible. I don't have no mother, no father. I'm an orphan. I got to do something. So there was an enlistment office right next to the Magnificent Brothers on Crenshaw. And I said, man, I'm fucking going to Army. I got it. Because I got a baby.
So it wasn't nothing that pushed you into the
Army. Responsibility.
Okay.
And knowing I'm really not doing nothing. Like I was going to trade tech to do auto body and fender and stuff, but I didn't see myself, I saw myself going to jail eventually with this baby. So I went in the Army, and I went in there and I went to the enlistment office, and they said, well, if you go infantry, you get $2,500 bonus. I'm like, cool, what's infantry? They said, that's just Army, man. Cool. They said, if you go airborne, you get another $2,500. That's 5 G's to me. Like you saying, money was, I'm like, okay, what's airborne? You jump out of planes. I was in gymnastics and shit. I wasn't afraid of no jumping out of no plane. I'm like, cool. I said, what's that uniform look like? It was a red beret. I'm like, I can't come home in no motherfucking red beret. But now I'm around my niggas. I said, what's the next one? They said, that's Ranger. I said, what's that? They said, that's a black beret. I'm like, okay, that's like the Panthers. I could fuck with that. Then I said, what's the next one? They said, that's green beret. I said, well, what's that? They said, well, that's 52 weeks of AIT. You train for a year. I wanted to go to Hawaii. You train for a year before you go. Nah, that's too much. I fuck with the black beret. So I went to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. I went to basic. I went to AIT, jump school, ranger school at Benning. And then they told me, oh, there's no airborne in Hawaii. They lied. So I terminated jump status and ended up 25th ID. And I did 4 years over there. So yeah. So me being a ranger, I could kill everybody in this room with a bomb. Not hand to hand. No, but no, I was trained. I was trained in, all it is athletics. if anyone wants to go in the Army, all you have to do is be able to take orders and have really cardio. Right. If you got cardio, you could do it.
But now I hear tell while you was in the Army,
I hit a lick
in Hawaii, you started hustling.
Well, what happened was, I did two things in the Army. There's known. One thing a sergeant was sending us out hitting licks, and we stole some shit for him, an infantry blue rug, which got me caught by the CID, and I ended up in jail, and I broke out of that jail with minimum security. I broke out and came home. I was AWOL. The sergeant was the one that sent us on the licks, so I kind of told him, like, I'm not going to prison, player. You better figure this out. I'm not no snitch, but figure it out, you know? And he figured it out, and I came back. And then when I was in Hawaii, that's when I got it caught around as pimping, because my buddy, I'm not going to say people's names. I usually say names, but a lot of times people now are ministers and church people, and they're like, nigga, what the fuck did you just do? You know, my people don't know. My buddy's mother got mad because I called her a crip mama, and I said, but you are a crip. You were a crip mama. But anyway, my buddy, one of my best friends from St. Louis, his girl's sister was a hoe. Mm-hmm. And there's a pimp out there named Mitchell. I could say his name, rest in peace. And we would go over his house over the barbecue. And he always said, nigga, you cut for this pimping, man. You got them light eyes. You're not really into these women, this, that, and the third. So I used to fuck around with him and just, you know, I learned a lot of the pimp game from him. But, you know, one rule of pimping, a pimp got to be his best hoe. And sometimes, you know, that money comes in slow. And, you know, it's not something that, it ain't easy. It ain't easy. I always say, people are, you better not selling dope, because the key of dope won't wake up in the middle of the night and shoot you for something you said to it earlier that day. You understand me? You know what I'm saying? That pimping is something different. It's very flamboyant and fun, but pimps live in a special world where they into each other and flossing and stuff like that. But to take it to the next level, it's very difficult. The biggest pimp in the history of the world would be Hugh Hefner. Who figured out, I won't sell pussy, I will sell the image of the pussy. And he became very wealthy.
With the magazine.
Yeah. But what you do is, I learned from that game how to run Hollywood. Mm-hmm. I learned, you know, because all pimping really is magnified. You just make people like you. It's just like your personality is just so not a gorilla pimp or a kidnapper or some child trafficking piece of shit. A motherfucker that really can work that ism on you.
So I got a question. R. Kelly, man.
He's a weirdo, always been a weirdo. Fuck R. Kelly. R. Kelly is the worst kind of person, because not fuck a pedophile. I don't fuck with nothing. You know, being on SVU all these years, you know what the definition of a pedophile is? Mm-mm. It's someone who likes prepubescent kids. And you want things before puberty. Oh. That's a pedophile. Then you have a child molester. But the thing of it is, it's like, this what makes me really have a problem with R. Kelly. The nigga had every bitch in the world. He had every grown woman in the world. This is going to be on World Star. I know your type of sound clips, you motherfuckers. But he had access to every fucking woman in the world, but he chooses kids. I don't get it.
You know, I think I had read something. I was gone his whole career. Yeah. And but I think he was, because he was mentally. They said he was abused too, so he was mentally disturbed though.
I don't make excuses for weirdos.
No, I ain't making no excuses.
I just think that, you know, he married Aaliyah. She was 16. That was a big sign. That was a sign. And then now as the shit starts to unfold, you know, I mean, I don't like throwing dirt on niggas, but I have no problem throwing dirt on pedophiles and weirdos, you know. Even on Law and Order, I play a cop that chases rapists and pedophiles. Right. That's why I can get my head around playing that role, because they don't even like them in prison. You know what I'm saying? They don't.
So you ain't comfortable in there.
Nah, so, you know, I got too many niggas I gotta hold down. Real niggas that I should be holding their back, and they got people on them. I'm like, no, fuck that, that's my nigga. Kelly, man, that nigga's a weirdo, man. And you know, I don't understand it. Why? I mean, all the women that loved him throw panties at the stage, grown ass bad bitches, and you want to fuck with children, man. I don't.
But how about the motherfuckers who know it though?
Yeah, those are called enablers.
Yeah.
That's some. That's some corny shit too. Cause
Yeah,
if I'm around one of my homies and the niggas
He on
doing some
that
wild
shit.
shit, I'm checking it.
exactly.
I always said Michael Jackson's brothers should have checked him, but they was getting paid. See, when niggas getting paid, they turn another cheek. You know, if I was one of Michael Jackson's brothers, I'd be like, yo, Mike, all these kids and these, you know, this Peter Pan shit, man, about to knock you the fuck out. And my nigga like, what's up with that, man? You know, and I expect
man.
I expect
Bite,
anyone that's out of pocket. That's
Right.
what your homie's supposed to do. I've had my homies come to me, on different situations, say, chill, man.
Mm-hmm.
Let this go. It's not no ice. Just let it go.
Yeah.
You know, real niggas like you will say, yo, ice, let that go. Because, and that's one of the reasons a lot of these youngsters seem to be getting in trouble is because they don't got nobody that's pulling their coat. Like, nigga, you rich, nigga. Like,
because they get the money first, and then they got the power. So anybody who riding with them don't want to lose the power, don't want to lose the connection.
or they get the money. It's reversed. Like they get the money, and then you want to gain the street cred after you're famous, which is backwards. You know, it's like do your dirt or whatever you did, but once you become famous, let it go.
Right.
Let it go. When I started doing gangster rap, I was like, nigga, if I gotta break the law to sell a record, fuck selling records, man. I'm not doing that. I'm not going there. I'm not gonna be Ice-T and go to jail.
Right.
Now?
So that bring me back from there because I'm trying to understand the timeline. So when you first started doing music, you had the little encounter in the military. Now, do you get honorably discharged,
Yes.
or you just?
I get honorably discharged. I did my time. I came home, and niggas was hitting licks. When I went in, niggas was stealing car stereos. When I came home, niggas was doing jewelry stores.
And that's the Ice-T we was
Right. So I get picked up, and niggas like, nigga, we going to here, we going to Salt Lake City, we going this place, we going that place, because the cats we were working with, they had burnt out L.A., so they was going out of town. So the only person who could chase us was the feds. And me having military expertise, I was able to set up the lick, break it down. I've never been caught. I've never been incarcerated. Because me, the catching comes before the hanging, and the getaway is more important than the lick.
Right.
The getaway always is more important. So I would create elaborate getaway schemes and stuff. Nelsy got caught up because they made a mistake and they didn't switch cars, and you don't do the lick in the same car that you plan on driving all the way home. So anyway, we had our MOs, and I was able to survive the jury game. And when people say jury licks or the game in my book, it escalated. It started with snatch and run. A snatch and run is basically you go in, you ask to see some shit, and you just bone out. That's the first level. Then that moved to bashing. That's when you walk in the jewelry store, you tell the people, please step back from the flying glass. They say, what flying glass? You say this, bitch. Bam, bam, bam. You bust it. No guns. Bam. You case the spot that doesn't have a security guard, that has a quick exit. If you hit the mall, inside a mall, usually you can run 2 steps and there's an exit which puts you into the catacombs of the mall and you can get away. Me and BJ hit a gun spot one time like that and came out holding like 40 guns. So that's the next level. It escalates to pistol bashing, where niggas was like lay down, and that's an armed robbery.
That's the Rolex stores.
That's when I got out, because I never really was a pistol basher, because I always felt someone could be outside and see that gun and start opening up fire. Then you in heat. Now we in heat. I'm not going to jail, so we got to. So I kind of declined to pistol bash, and I tried to sell blow. Had like half a key of coke, gave it out to the homies. Everybody came back short. Every nigga came back short.
This would have been what 80 did.
Everybody came back short. All my niggas like, yo, where's my profit? Oh, yo, my sister smoked that and that. So I just made enough money to break even. I said, I ain't in the coke game. I can't do that.
So when did the music start? Because now I know the bashing because I lived it. I mean, yeah. I was a youngster trying to be y'all. So we eventually morphed into all of that.
The music started in 1982 at Good Fred's.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm in Good Fred's, I used to say these rhymes to the girls because I was getting my hair did. So I would say my rhyme. You know, bitch, I'm the pimp, the player, the woman layer, the hoolie doula, the whole house ruler. I just pimp whores and slam Cadillac doors. You know, I got so many clothes in my wardrobe each day. When I put some in, I gotta throw some away, bitch. You know, so I'm saying all this shit. So this guy named Willie Strong walked in. He was the president. He owned what's the record store Snoop did standing on the top of?
Oh, in Long Beach.
Start opening up fire. And he very famous record store. I signed to Pistol. They would one on Crenshaw and there's one in Long Beach. But that was the #1 record store
at the time. Yeah.
At the time. So he came to me. He said, "Would you like to make a record?" Everybody came back short. All my profits spent over these checks. So I'm like, word. And he said, I own a record label called Saturn Records. And he said, I'm like, when you want to do it? He said, right now. So I was in my car. I had my partner follow me in the car. I jumped in Willie Strong's car. He had a big ass Cadillac, like Run DMC. Jay put me inside the Cadillac. Chauffeur drove off. Never came back. You know, so they took me to a studio like this, and they had a track with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis on it. That had produced it. It was some girls singing. They wiped it. Very famous. And I just said all the rhymes I had on my head. Crenshaw, and there's one in Long Beach. But that was the #1 record store.
At the time, yeah.
At the time. VIP Records. Yes, yeah. Like, so they own VIP. So the motherfucker said, so I walked in the studio and I'm like, the ladies say that I'm heaven sent, cause I got more money. I own a record label. I roll ragtop rolls, rocks on my hand, Maseratis, Mercedes Benz, ocean liners, private jets, Bel Air bookies place my bets. I own islands off the coast of France and I wear designer shirts and pants. When I was brought into this world, my mama never asked if I was a boy or a girl because I rolled over to her and gave her a kiss and she said, yo, daddy don't rock. You know, so that's 1982 Ice-T player shit. So I made that record. Blam, I made $200. Girls singing. That was it. So then Unknown DJ had a label called Techno Hop. He had MC8 and King T.
You never signed a deal or nothing?
No. I wasn't signing no deals because VIP I was just like, yeah. So they own VIP. Make record, we break bread.
How old
I walk
are you?
in the studio and I'm like, the ladies. I ain't start rapping until I was like 26. Got more money than I'd already had a life. And I was like, so I do this thing with him. Ocean liners, private jets. You don't quit. Place my bets. Then the big one came. I was in a place called the 320 or something down in Santa Monica. I heard school or a girl because I rolled over to her and gave her. I was in the club. Yo, daddy record came on. So that, you know, so they took me to a studio like this, and they had a track with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis on it. I was like, that produced it. Some girls singing. That? And it sounded like angel dust. It sounded like dust. Like I had on my head. The reverb was all discombobulated, and I'm like, this nigga is so cool. And at the time, like everyone was yelling on me. Make the record, this nigga was like,
how old are you then?
Put my pistol up against his head. I started rapping. Shoot you dead. I'd already had like this is the flyest nigga in the world. And so I do my research. So he has case the Parkside Killer. I did Don't Quit, Gang. And then the big one came. Now I got this arsenal of gangster shit. 320 or something down in Santa Monica. I'm thinking nobody wants to hear it because everyone's rapping like when I was in a club. My boys, like Randy Mack and them, was like, just say that shit you be saying. I'm like, he is violent. That shit's too aggressive. So Randy had an 808. He put the red 808 up. And it sounded like angel dust. I basically sounded like a dust, like the reverb was 6 in the morning. Discombobulated. Fresh to squeak across the bathroom floor. At that time, everyone was yelling on rap. Didn't even have a chance to grab my old like tape. So I make this record, you know, Bust a Left Turn. Coming off. I would imagine coming off. I'd already had a life. And making that turn. Yeah, coming up Vernon. Bust a Left Turn was on Crenshaw, and so I made this record. But I was the B side. It was the B side. Niggas don't hear that shit. So the first way I knew that record hit, I got a call from the Fillmore West in the Bay.
So how did you put it out?
We put it out on Macola, Techno Hop. It was like, you know, everybody was putting records out through Macola. Like NWA wasn't out yet. Two Live Crew was from LA earlier. And we just had ways to put it out. You just press 10,000 and just move them around and sell them. Straight out the trunk.
And that was put out as a single.
With a record called Dog in the Wax on the A side. A side was Dog in the Wax, me yelling. This was on the B side. Like Chuck D says, the B side wins
Gotcha.
again.
Yeah, okay.
So I get the call from Fillmore West. They say, Ice-T, would you like to do a concert? I knew about the Fillmore West. It's very famous. Jimi Hendrix played there. I'm like, sure. A week later, they called me back and said, would you like to do a show at the Fillmore West? I said, I already booked one. They said, sold out. Now, in L.A., I could only play for maybe 100 niggas. In the Bay, I was a star. This is one thing people don't know. You never usually blow up in your hometown. You blow up right out of your hometown. Your hometown niggas like, I know that nigga. I know the nigga. That's Ice. I ain't buying his record. But up there, I was the shit. And the Bay has a player style to them. They've always been different than us. But they're more hustlers and players.
Yeah.
When I did that show, I was like, that's my fucking identity. That's what these niggas want to hear. I got this shit all motherfucking day. So, and then my image came from Russell Simmons. I was dressing like New York rappers, belt buckles, all that bullshit. And then I was at the Casa Camino, and someone called me on the stage, and I was wearing LA shit. I had on a full length leather piece and all my shit. And I went on the stage dressed like street shit. And when I came on stage, Russell said, "That's your look. Fuck hip hop. That's your look. That's LA Ice. You gotta look LA." That's why I'm Ron Pays. I'm in the Porsche with the girl. It was like, you can't look like New York niggas. You gotta be LA, palm tree. You have to represent LA. And then, next thing you know, I'm taking you through LA. We boned down Vernon, made a right on Normandy, left on Florence, jetting through the EGG, spun out on Vermont, made a left on Coden, right on Hoover. Where are we going? Now I got niggas like going through LA because I realized that was the money. Everybody, I got to put LA on the map. And I managed to do it. And
now you did.
2 years later, here comes NWA. And see, what happened was, when Cube hit, Cube was a friend. When Cube hit, straight out of Compton, crazy motherfucker named Ice Cube, from the gang called Niggas with Attitude. They called it a gang. So the press said, oh, it's gangster rap. Feel me? That's where the term gangster rap comes from. Because Cube referred to NWA as a gang, not a rap group.
Oh, I never knew that. See, I was gone.
Okay, well, I'm giving you the game. That's why I'm here. So gangster rap. So, of course, they say gangster rap. So, what do I say? I'm original gangster.
Right, original gangster.
So, we're going to put OG in the game. And the term OG was so street. No one ever. Only the real
Only us knew that.
Knew what OG meant. So, when I put that on the record, niggas was like, oh, this nigga Ice is cracking some codes for these niggas. Now they got OG Teen Mom is on television. I'm like, Lord have mercy.
They used to say OG. I was in Chicago, and they OG referred to your old girl. They was referring to their mother. That's my OG, my old girl. And I'm like, that's our big homies. Like, you know what I'm saying? And
then also OG refers to anything, LA terminology, anything original. Right. So the OG Chuck Taylors, the OG 501s, anything that was the first.
So look, like at that time, because I remember I was in Chicago. I was when I came home.
This is the 4-hour checking-in episode. You guys are gonna have to watch this.
Yeah,
this is a series.
So, to me, we were just talking off camera, and I told you, to me, I felt like Ice-T was the one that created the West Coast gangster sound. That because I'm from the streets of LA. And when it was street, the one song topples everything. 6 a.m. Yeah. I don't think it could, because to the rest of the world, it wasn't a lot of gangster in it. It wasn't a lot of street, wasn't a lot of hood. But to us,
you knew what I was talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I talk to people all the time, and they talk about colors and all that. I'm like, colors wasn't ours.
They don't know what I'm saying in that record. You know, when I say rolling in a blazer with a Louis interior, niggas in LA had blazers. They didn't know about it. When, my home, Henry put me up on the track, told me E's rolling villain, BJ's got the sack. Bruce is a giant. They don't know who Bruce was.
Right.
They didn't know what a giant was. A giant was a drug dealer that had really took it. Bruce is a giant, Nat C's Clock and Doe Bebop's a pimp. My old freak's a hoe. That's That's what happens when you come back from jail. The battering rams rolling,
Exactly.
rocks are the thing, life has no meaning, and money is king. Then he looked at me slowly, and Hen had to grin. He said, man, you out early. We thought you got 10. Opened up my safe, broke me down with long cash. You know, I brought a Benz with the money. The rest went on clothes. Went to the strip, started pimping the hoes. My hair grew long on my 7-year stay. When I got it done on my shoulders, it like, you know, a lot of the lyrics that I say, like I got this record where I'm talking about the girl work plastic. Niggas are just now swiping.
Bro, hold on.
They just now getting that game.
I can't let him get past that song like that. Because I was just having a conversation with the brothers in the room earlier, and they were so fixated
on scamming.
on colors.
Right.
But they don't understand the song he just said described all of Crenshaw. Crenshaw High School, the niggas on Crenshaw, Bruce Richardson. Y'all don't understand who Bruce was.
Yeah.
Crenshaw High School. I was
Genius Car Wash.
Genius Car Wash. First one of like our generation that go out and really hit it big. You know what I mean? Then that's the same era, Bo Bennett. That's where Harry O'Neill was all on the east side. And we was the west side. He described the west side. Like all those names. And niggas don't get that.
Well, you know what it is? They say those who say don't know and those who know don't say. And I always would make records for my crew.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like when Nip would make records. She was saying a lot of stuff about the neighborhood that only neighborhood niggas would get.
Yeah,
So I'm saying LA shit long before niggas, you know, I had this record called Addicted to Danger. I said, damn, how'd I get into this scam? Rolling a car with a trunk worth 500 grand. I came up from the curb, word, first slinging rocks. Now my ride's packed with crazy birds. Niggas is like, you got birds in your trunk?
Yeah.
Birds. I got a freak in the front seat. She got crazy game. Might have more than me. And that's why I don't trust her. I ain't no buster. They was like, what's a buster? One wrong move and I'll dust her. But she knows that. Keeps a gat. Works much plastic. Always stays on fat. She says she loves me. Looks deep in my eyes. Sometimes cries. All lies. She only loves my cash flow. Long dough. The false love of a pimp and a hoe. So this is happening in 1980s. Niggas is like, what is he talking about? I'm just older than niggas.
Right.
Now they look back. They like, oh, I used to, you know, what I say? I say one record. I said I leave with my niggas in them foes on things, and if I really want to floss, I flex my Bentley wing. Damn, it's over your head. Got a problem keeping lyrics down to earth so normal niggas can solve them.
Niggas didn't even know that.
They didn't never seen a Bentley. They don't know.
You know what I'm saying? Nigga want that Zetas and dates before they get the Bentley whenever you get it.
Yeah.
But that's the genius. And so we sitting here.
Mm-hmm.
We sitting here. And the transition, the transition that you made into film, and how I got a question: how the hell did you get on the Colors? Like,
I got on Colors.
How did that come to you?
This is what happened to you. Colors was going through Warner Brothers. I was on Warner Brothers at the time, so they were looking for rap records, so they wanted Squeeze the Trigger. I knew that if they want to use your record in a movie, you can ask to see the movie. So I said, let me see Colors. So I watched the movie. I'm like, well, the Mexicans don't fight black people. Okay. It's okay. It's good. I really just like the scene where the gangs were, which really doesn't happen in the county where the modules connect. So anyway, I was like, okay, it's cool. It's cool. You know. So I said, can I do the title song? They say Rick James did the title song. Like, Rick James? So I heard the record. If you go to the B side of the Colors album, the last song is Colors by Rick James. And it's like Rick James saying, look at all these colors. I'm like, oh Lord, no, this can't happen.
Wait a minute, bro.
True story. It's a song out there by Rick James called Colors. It's
Rick
awful.
James would have had this as a soundtrack.
Rick James is a pimp, a player, a cocaine snorting motherfucker, but he don't know nothing about no gangs. You know, Rick James was like, at the time Rick James was a nigga, but so what happened was, at the time I was listening to King's Son record called Mythological. And King's Son's record goes, when I get ill, it's a reason, cause it's duck season, hunter of the frontier. That's how he comes on. So I come on. I am a nightmare walking, psychopath talking, king of my. I jacked his cadence, right? people are always influenced by other records. You'll never know where it comes from, but this is how people are. We're inspired by other things. And I'm like, blah. So shout out to King's son. So we make the record, and I just explain gangbanging. Mm-hmm. You ain't got to be in the gang to understand gangbanging if you grew up in L.A. I know exactly how these niggas think. A lot of them are my best friends. So I make the record. Blam. It hits, and for 1 minute, all of a sudden, L.A. was tough. At that moment, the world saw. That was a big record. They were like, there's gangs in L.A.?
Yes.
There's really gangs here? Now, here's the thing about Chicago. The movie was supposed to be shot in Chicago. Because they didn't, and then somebody said, let's shoot it in L.A. And the people in the production office said, there's gangs in L.A. That's how, gangs were so under the cover. That year, 380 kids had died to gang homicide. But they weren't making the news. They thought they had to go to Chicago to shoot a gang movie. And they ended up shooting it in L.A. True story.
Wow.
And so I dropped that song. I turned it in. They were like, yo, this is incredible. I won an MTV award for that. That record was so good, people think I was in the movie. Niggas like, I like you in colors. I'm like, yeah. What scene?
They do.
They believed it. Same story when I did New Jack City. I was playing Scotty the cop, but I wanted to write New Jack Hustler, so I called it Nino's theme. And I wrote, because I'm not a cop, so I can only write from the hustler perspective. You know, and hustler, word, I pulled the trigger long, grit my teeth, sprayed every nigga's gone, got my block sewn, armored dope spots. When I say armored dope spots, remember we used to put the burglar bars inside the house?
Yeah.
Niggas don't know about that.
Yeah.
You go in a dope house, there's burglar bars on the other side of the door. Like the door's here and then there's there. Then there's at the steps on the way upstairs is burglar bars. There's burglar bars all through this motherfucking place. So the police, as they come in, they get, that's niggas there. So that's where the word armored dope spots came from. Freeway Rick is cold. I remember with Freeway Rick, the battering ram came, that nigga said he put the dope spot on the second floor. Because the battering ram would hit the basement, he put his dope upstairs.
That's how I called my first case.
With Rick?
No, I called my first case. They hit the Petey whack ass getting chased by the police because the homies somebody had just shot at the police. Mm-hmm. Off the apartment buildings. So they run around. I'm in my apartment. I had just got shot in the leg. And they raiding the spot.
How many times you been shot?
I've been shot 7 different times.
For the record.
7, all different incidents.
This is what happens when you want to be a big... Now, I've also heard you say you never really all were part of this. You're not a gangbanger.
I'm not a gangbanger.
Which is smart because they got gang enhancements in California, which that's another thing you don't know about.
I never joined the gang, they joined me.
Got it.
You know what I mean? It ain't on you, it's in you.
On the gang in California, they have a thing called a gang enhancement. Yeah. So you don't want to ever claim gang. Yeah. And they'll pull up your fucking World Star interview.
They'll pull up everything.
Here he is right here where he claims he was part of a notorious gang and we're going to hit him with the RICO and bury him.
It carries actually 10 extra years no matter what. Even if you don't have to hit you with the RICO.
That's a beautiful word, an enhancement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
just by being a member of a gang.
Yeah. That's all you
extra
need.
10. Yeah. No tattoos. People ask me why you don't have no tattoos. Because the cops call those identifying marks.
And I don't have none either. Not a one.
Real G shit.
Not a one.
I got a bullet hole here and one here, but yeah, that's another story we won't go into. All right, but 7, you got shot in the knee. Petey Whack was busting on the cops.
Yeah, I guess no. Somebody else was busting the cops.
Okay, yeah,
and they running, and the police, they try to beat me up because of the bars. These idiots dive through the window, and we on 10th Avenue in apartments on the 2nd floor. And I'm sitting there. I'm not finna open the door. Like, you here, you got all this shit, open the door. I got a cast on my leg.
Right.
I mean, my legs wrapped up, and I'm sitting there. And who was it? Sleep went with me. It was me, Tiny Cal, and somebody else, and they bamming at the door. And I opened the curtains of the door. Now, I got We got the wood door and the bar door on the inside.
On the
We got
inside.
we
LA
got
shit.
We got the bars on the inside of the window. Then I got a whole nother door on the inside of the hallway. So we used to remember if you had if that's a whole nother separate room. So as long as you don't have a key, they got to get a whole search warrant to go in that room. So we just took the key, flushed the key to the room. That's where all the guns and everything is. These motherfuckers dive through the window into the bars. It's the funniest shit in the world. Man, they got that motherfucker whooped our ass. Drug us down the stairs. We was 17, 18, man. It was funny because that's just how the shit was.
Shit was wild. Everybody was going to jail. The cops was raiding. I remember at Mixmaster Spade in Compton, they were allegedly selling water. Mm-hmm. And
that's what Compton do.
PCP. So the cops gonna raid the house. There's cops in the front, cops in the back. There's a pit bull in the back. One cop shoots the pit bull. Cops in the front start shooting. The cops in the back start shooting. They having a shootout through the house. My niggas is on the ground trying to get under the carpet. 5-10 seconds, the cops is shooting through that. Imagine that. So yeah, these stories you live to tell, and you know that was L.A. back then, man. And you know, for me now.
What was the Battle Ram? Did the Battle Ram come out before?
Well, Toddy T made the song, and the Battering Ram was a tank that had.
No. When did it come out? Did it come out before 6 in the morning?
Yes.
The Battering Ram did.
Yeah, Toddy T was actually out. He was making songs off of like existing records. Like he took the Freaks Come Out at Night, called the Clucks Come Out at Night. Oh, okay. The Clucks Come Out at Night, and he would just flip records, make parody records. But the Battering Ram was one of his songs. The Battering Ram. Yeah. He actually was out. Well, I had other records out, but I hadn't hit.
So who was the first one to get the explicit sticker?
Me.
You was the first one to get the explicit sticker.
Yeah.
So it takes me into what year did Cop Killer come out? And what was the motivation behind that? Because that was after NWA,
and
right?
Cop Killer was Body Count. Well, see, NWA did Fuck the Police, right? Because we used to say Fuck the Police in the shows.
Yeah.
You know, they used to say, you can't sing 6 in the morning. I'm like, fuck the police, fuck the police. Now I would do it. And then they came with Fuck the Police as a song. That was first. Then I did Cop Killer with Body Count with my rock band. Right. And I was in the studio, and my drummer was like, I was singing a song called Psycho Killer by Talking Heads, which is a punk rock band. I'm like, Psycho Killer, and my boy said, they need a cop killer. I'm like, why? He said, because as soon as niggas start taking off on these cops, they'll back up. Now, at the time, you had Rampart, you had the cops rolling around with the Confederate flag. Mm-hmm. And Gates had called us gorillas in the mist.
Yeah.
So they was on us, and they was beating ass. Rodney King, you only saw that because a nigga had a big-ass camera. Like, you couldn't do this back then. You had to have a big camcorder in the video. So that was just one nigga that you saw they was beating ass every night.
And robbing you.
Yeah.
They was robbing?
Well, they robbed John Boy. That's another story.
Mm-hmm. I just talked to John Boy, too.
Right. So, long story, I said, Cop Killer. I said, what if somebody snapped because of police brutality and went after them? And that gave me I started writing the song. And we put Cop Killer out. Body Count went out on Lollapalooza tour for a year. But then the Fraternal Order of Police out of Texas decided to use us during an election to say Time Warner was promoting the killing of police officers. Next thing I know, the president is talking shit. Dude, I'm at my house. I'm going to date this. Niggas was playing Techno Bowl. That's a date, right? Remember Techno Bowl?
Techno Bowl.
Niggas was playing Techno Bowl. Niggas
you
called me.
You Chicago. You ain't gonna get you can't play me with Chicago.
Techno
Walter
Bowl.
Payton couldn't be stopped.
This when it was just little dots. That was your team. So niggas call me, yo, Ice. The fucking president is talking shit about you. And so we looked at the TV, and it was Gore. Not Gore. It was Son of a Bush and Quail. And the nigga is like, when we got there, the nigga said, and Ice-T. He was like, yo. Now, I don't give a fuck what problem you've ever had? When the president of the United States says your name in anger, that's saved for people like Osama bin Laden. That's saved for terrorists. That's not saved for average niggas. They don't say your name. The minute they say your name, the deepest background check ever happens. The CIA, the FBI, the DEA, everybody, they check you. Why? Because if you're the president, the next question could be, what do you know about him? It can't be like, well, I think he lives in, he's from the rolling 60s. No, his shoe size is this, his blood type is this. This is what happens when the president wants to know what's up. And you feel it. They took my kid out of school. My daughter was going to school. The Secret Service came and talked to her. They wanted to know what I was trying to start some type of a coup. They had to address it like I was really a threat, like I was trying to call the nation to kill cops. I had ice cream trucks parked in front of my house in the middle of the winter, shit like that, you know what I'm saying? But I was no threat. It was just a record. It wasn't my call to arms. And it cost us a lot of money. We couldn't get insurance for shows. The cops wouldn't become security in different places and this, that, and the third. And, you know, here I am 20 years later and I'm vindicated. 20 years later, now that everyone can see what the cops, the bullshit, they like, I just wasn't making this shit up. I'm like, no, I'm not making shit up. I never made shit up. So now, ain't nobody mad at me. And here I am, check this out. I'm the longest running cop in television history. I'm the longest running black actor in television history, playing the motherfucking police. And I'm as far from a cop as you can get. But dig this. When Dick Wolf casted me, the nigga said, because it's my fifth show with Dick Wolf. I played a gangster. I played New York Undercover. Then I played a gangster on Swift Justice. Then I played a pimp in Exile. Then I had a show called Players. When he casted me for this, he said, Ice, you don't like the police, do you? I said, Dick, I'm going to tell you about the police. I was a criminal, so we never hated the police. The police were the opponent. We're going to beat them. We know we're about to break the law, but we're going to do it anyway, and they're not going to catch us. So you don't hate them. You just want to beat them. And if in a real gangster, if they catch you, you cuff up, and now you play law and order. You don't get mad at them. They're doing their job. We got a job. Right. Just like in Heat.
They don't cheat.
Yeah, right. What they will, we do too. Yeah. So but there's some type of respect, you know, about response times. You know how they're going to come. You know, based on the crime, how hard they should come. So he says, but you admit we need them. I said, yeah, we do. I got some homies probably need to get picked up, these dirty motherfuckers. So they said, I want you to play the cop we need. So that's what you've been seeing for 23 years. It's like I play a cop with an Ice-T sensibility. You ain't never heard me bust nobody for no weed, no drug, nothing. I'm chasing pedophiles and rapists and weirdos, R. Kelly motherfuckers, and they need to go to motherfucking jail. Bury them niggas. You know, I have no love for none of that kind of shit. Every criminal has a moral compass.
Yeah, because I was locked up with some niggas that I feel that need to be locked up. You know, because I mean, I don't wish jail on nobody, but it's some niggas that just mind just ain't on the same page as regular human beings.
This is what I like to say. Humans are animals, and they come in all shapes and sizes. Yeah. And some humans are straight up savages. They like hurting people. They like doing bad shit. They get off on that shit. There's a certain mental state of that. That's never been me. I've been around them kind of people that they enjoy.
I was unfortunately live with them over 13 years. See. You know what I'm saying? And I know it's some sicknesses, man. We got some people that's sick. Just no other way to look at it.
And you know what it is? It's the cat that doesn't seem like it's just a threat. You know, the guys that walking around acting all tough, they're insecure. They think you don't think they tough. It's not that guy. It's the guy that'll sit up and show you the pictures of his kids and then reach over, take a dinner fork and pull your fucking eye out of your head and then finish his dinner. Them niggas, and they're out there and they're weirdos and they're into hurting people and suffering and torture. And, you know, once again, that ain't me.
Right. So let me ask you this. Let me take you back because I know your time is spent, but this is something
I'm here all day, nigga. This is the marathon. The marathon.
The marathon continues.
Yeah, we here representing
Nipsey. I got you this one. The West Coast.
Yes.
The West Coast coming in. And from what I seen with Ice-T's career with the what was the Pop Locking, all the movies. It was more like Ice-T was the bridge between the East Coast and the West Coast.
Yes, sir.
How did you feel when that Suge Knight came in, the era came in, and it started the beefing with both
Pac
coasts
and Big and
and the murders?
It got crazy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Pac and Big were friends. Pac was connected to my guys, Rated R and Macadocious, Five Deuce, them kids. Before he ended up hooking up with Suge, who were Bloods. There were Crips and Bloods. There was a lot of weird stuff that was going on that was, to me, unsafe. You know? And then you add Suge, who adds gunpowder to the situation, you know, because it was a way of making money. Like, I think Suge looked at it like he was Ed McMahon from WWE. Like, I'll just start a big wrestling war, and I'll profit off of the, you know, the stuff. But in the midst of it, people were getting hurt. You know, I have an allegiance to New York because I actually got signed in New York. Africa Islam and the Zulu guys were the ones that got me my record deal, and I've always loved coming to New York. I always felt I wasn't really a true rapper till New York accepted me, you know, because they were the home of hip hop. So I had friends in the East, I had friends in the West. I was in New York when Biggie got hit, and niggas called me like, "Be careful in New York. They just hit Big." You know, and I'm like, word, is he dead? They like, don't look good, Ice. You be careful, because they didn't know somebody was just gonna take off on an LA nigga in New York. You know, creating drama isn't a good idea. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you study if you think you a gangster and you really study gangsterism, motherfuckers don't want trouble. That brings heat. That brings problems. You know, we just trying to get money. Keep the money. We used to always say, keep the drama at a minimum and cash flow at a maximum.
Right.
That's the motto. We not trying to, you know, even when I was hitting licks, we never wanted to hurt nobody, because if they chase you for the money, there's going to be an insurance payout.
Did you know Suge?
I knew Suge back when, and if you hurt somebody, they're going to chase you forever. But with Suge, I knew Suge as NWA's bodyguard. He was part of the crew. I think Suge came with DOC.
He was NWA's bodyguard?
Yeah.
So he was bodyguard for Eazy-E?
Pretty much. He was part of their whole situation and stuff. But I didn't know him as a gang member. I've never shared a harsh word with Suge. I just, you know, watched his movement. Now, the thing of it is, at the end of the day, when Suge connected to all the Bloods, you know, my guys weren't impressed. They were just like, because we from the other side, so whatever.
What about Dre?
Dre has always been just the genius behind the music. And I knew Dre when he would DJ at Dudo's, and Dre's more like a musical nerd. Like, he's just amazing in the studio. And with Easy, who was a street cat coming in, saying, let's do that stuff, that kind of hardcore shit. You know, to me, Dre is like the Quincy Jones of our era.
Right.
You know, he's amazing. He can take whoever you are and make you the best. If you notice, when Dre did Snoop, he gave Snoop a sound. But then when he did Eminem don't sound like Snoop. He creates music to match.
Yeah, it's different.
But I've always been cool with NWA. I was cool with Easy, Ren. Like I say, that's not Ice-T style. You're not gonna find nobody out there that say Ice-T want to cause no beef and no. My name's Ice, man.
You know, let me tell you. One time I got a call, a call from Soulja Boy, manager, and they was like, "We can't come to L.A. We got
beef with Ice-T.
We got a beef with Ice-T."
They had no beef with me. They listen. Since we're on World Star, and you know what? The first time I ever heard of World Star was during the Soulja Boy shit. They got at me. Ice, you got a comment to make. This is what happened with Soulja Boy, for the record. I didn't even know who Soulja Boy really was. I just knew he was doing different kinds of rap. I was in the studio doing a mixtape, and I'm getting ready to do my bars. And the niggas was fucking with me. Like, nigga, they don't want to hear you, nigga. They want to hear Hurricane Chris and Soulja Boy, that type of shit.
Right.
And once again, old school head. Fuck them niggas, man. Them niggas. I don't even, I was just on my bullshit. I didn't mean it intentionally. I didn't mean it maliciously. I was just on my motherfucking bullshit. Right now, if I'm getting ready to get in that booth and you name a group, I might curse them out. But the niggas taped it.
Right.
And then they put it at the front of the mixtape. So now I'm in Arizona.
Wait a minute, it was on the tape?
They put it out. These niggas that I was fucking with that I thought was my friend. This is what I'm saying. Anything we say today might end up at the beginning of a fucking mixtape.
Right.
This is what niggas is doing. So I'm like, what happened? So now I don't even hear that. I hear my son calls me, man, Dad, Soulja Boy's going off on you. So I turn on the shit. He's looking at me, old nigga, this, that, and the third. I'm like, why is he going off on me? And then they played the piece. I'm like, oh my God. So now I'm listening to my son, who's like 18. You got to reply. What do you mean I got to reply? You got, nigga diss you. You got to say something back. So he turns the camera on me. I'm in Arizona. I say some dumb shit back to Soulja Boy. Fuck you. Now you done diss me. And that was the end of it. I never put no green light on the nigga. I don't want to hurt the kid. It never got into any types of threats or anything like that. I guess once he figured out who he was dissing, I think that's when it happened. Like, nigga, you fucking with ice. Like, them niggas will really come up in the, niggas will hit your crib like a SEAL team. Them niggas not to be fucked with. And then they end up calling you.
They called me.
What did you tell them?
I told him, I said, you need to fix it. I said, that's the big homie. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's the big homie.
I never had ever wanted to hurt Soulja Boy or anybody like that.
No, but I told him that. I said, because, see, if it would have been something serious, I would have got a call from somebody who was intending, like, draws. This is what it is.
Right.
Are you really with him? So I'm like, he ain't calling, man. He ain't really thinking about that. Because it's a connection. And what people don't realize is, even if it's a blood,
right?
Even if it's a crip, even if somebody who's an enemy or so-called, I'll get a call first.
Yes.
And they'll be like, look, bro, we on your man.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, look, man, how we fix it.
Right.
And it was never that. So that's what I'm like, because see, that just popped in my head right now.
It's funny though, because people thought I just got up out of nowhere and went in on the kid. That's not how it happened. It was some, but that I learned the lesson.
Right.
I don't reply. I'm not replying.
That's what I don't do either.
I'm not replying. If you say something, whatever, I'll see you when I see you. Yep. If I see you, then I might address it face to face. And usually niggas, when you address it, they go, oh, no, nigga, I was tripping. And then I just watch out for these fucking cameras, man. They're always fucking taping, and World Star might have a little bit of love for Ice-T and say, nah, we ain't gonna twist him. But there's so many websites out there that'll twist you just for the sake of likes or whatever, and they'll put something out there that. And then you got, it's like you gotta just let it ride, because when you reply, you validate the fact you even heard it.
Right.
The fact that you even heard it. Like, people are asking me questions. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I'm 30,000 feet up moving, man. I'm not paying attention to that stuff. And I'm sure if there's a problem, niggas will call me.
Yeah, somebody would have called.
Somebody call me. Like when Paulie Mac called me about this, I'm like, you got my number. I got enough feelers on the streets to know when there's a real issue. But I don't create beef. I don't want no beef, so there should not be no beef.
Right.
You making something up in your head. And most of my niggas, that Ice didn't do that. That's not his style. That nigga's doing other things, man.
No, because like I always say, man, just the example that you was able to push for us, was great. And then, like everything you have done. Like I see people coming to me right now and they like, man, we like everything you're doing. You like who will say like, man, keep doing what you're doing, because you're the positive side of what could be something negative.
Absolutely. And
it's some people, and sometimes I feel like people get it. Like, I spend a lot of time working with kids. I spend a lot of time doing other things. And people don't get it that I could be doing something negative. Like,
But see, but you, let me say something. I watch you same way you watch me, and I know you doing the positive shit.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna come over here and do no gangbang interview with some nigga pushing a negative narrative.
Right.
I'm not. That's not what I'm about. Because I do believe in karma, and when we was fucking up, we didn't know. Like people say, well, why did you do this? I'm like, it seemed like the right thing to do at the time.
Yeah.
Now I got knowledge. I know what's right and wrong, and I can't push that line no more. You know, I don't want nobody to go to jail based on me, prison. If you follow me now, I'm trying to keep people in the right direction.
Exactly.
You know, just for my legacy. In this world, you don't leave with no money.
None.
That shit's gonna get spent. Your cars, them shits will be back on the freeway, registered to somebody else new. That house, that's gonna go on the market, and some new people gonna live in it. All you leave is your reputation and your legacy. My kids, my daughter, my son. My son told me one day, Dad, I'm in LA, I got juice. Nigga, that's my juice. You ain't. Who the fuck are you? Why you think the security guards are letting you in the club? Because they my age. Them niggas know what's up. They looking out for you. That's my juice. Now, if I turn into a sucker,
Then you get the sucker juice.
you getting the sucker juice.
Yes.
And think about Bill Cosby's kids or people who've had their names just destroyed at the end of their career. They not running around throwing that name up. I want my kids, I want my daughter to be able to say, I'm Ice-T's daughter, and people to treat her like she's a little queen. Yeah. You know, that's my legacy. That's all that matters. That's all I leave here. So I'm not like trying to fuck it up late in the fourth, you know, with no bullshit.
Oh, that's crazy. Let me just say, I second everything he just said. I second all that because that's really how I live my life. And you know, I tell my sons now, man, look, I ain't gonna leave you millions, but I'm gonna leave you a great name. I'm gonna leave you a name and a legacy that I fought from nothing. I was really in a dungeon.
Yes.
I was really locked in a dungeon in the hole for 3 years and 9 months. You know what I mean? And I really came from the lowest place on the planet Earth, and I'm fighting to create something new for us, for legacy for us, my grandkids to be proud of.
But let me tell you something. Can I give you some game?
Yeah.
That's what they're going to come for.
Right.
They're going to come for your legacy.
Right.
So you got to be on point.
Right.
They're going to, even after you die, they come for it.
Yeah, see that.
When you die, they'll try to pull up some shit to tarnish your name. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be aware of it. When you're young, you don't care. You don't think about things like this. But now when I got kids and I got family, you know, like I say, whatever money that'll get spent, that's nothing. It's my reputation and what I stand for. And on the streets, that means a lot.
And I try to do enough right now in my existence to make it hard for them. Because I know they got books they want to. Because see, I'm the last dragon because nobody will be able to do what we did. Because these cameras ain't gonna let them do it. So I'm me, you, and a couple of people. We the last dragons. We the last. We the last of the dinosaurs for people to be able to say back and talk about that era. Because with Monster being gone now,
right?
Monster,
rest in peace.
Yeah, and then now and Tookie gone, and all them. We the last of a generation of people whose names we got up there.
Right. So,
you know, we will be associated and branded on however the people who write the stories want to write it.
That's why you got to write yours.
And that's why I'm sitting here with people like yourself. And we're working on that, trying to create that now because I want to tell my story when I'm here or have an ability to tell my story. And then that'll be the rock that everybody have to go off of. Because they'll easily make me be the villain to all these other stories. Because you need a villain. You
definitely do.
You need a villain. You know what I mean?
You know. What was the show we just did with you? Where they talked to all the G's from different places.
Hip Hop Uncovered.
And if you know that thing I said in there about running down the road, I mean, I always tell people that's like the best description of me. Like I was on this hustler road, and I'm running, and I'm trying to do everything I can to get this money, and I got to the end of this road, and it's a cliff. And I'm just watching niggas go off the cliff. And everybody's dying. And niggas is yelling back at me. Ice, don't. And in my career, I've been on the same road, but running back past niggas like, don't go that way.
Yeah.
Don't go that way. You can, nigga, I'm flyer than you. Don't go that way. Don't go that way. So when you listen to Ice-T, and to some cats, I might sound square or corny or, you know, oh, you sold out. I have no allegiance to crime. I have no allegiance. I broke the law when I thought that's what I had to do, but I don't have an allegiance to it, like, criminal for life or whatever. I'm gonna take advantage of the options that were available to me. Now new options have opened, and I want to see those options open for other brothers,
Right.
And sisters. But it can be done. Look at Jay-Z. Jay-Z's a street cat. You know what I'm saying? All of us. I'll never forget when I started making records. Michael Conception called me up, a L.A. live nigga. Ice, man. I want to get in this record business. I got hooks up on Benny Medina. I'm like, look, man, shit, can't go to jail for this, And Mike started Grand Jury Records. He did all in the same gang. So street cats inspire other street cats to say, oh, this is another lane. I can do it. Can't do it bow-legged, though. If you're going to come, my dad taught me that. He said, if you're going to be anything, be a professional. If you're in the underworld, that's all you do. You don't fuck with squares. If you're going to be legit, that's what you do.
And Mike, shouts out Mike, because Mike is a legend, man. Mike is the one who did it.
Absolutely.
I mean, Mike did it big. Mike's in a wheelchair, man.
And Mike was right out there on the front lines, general. Yeah. And now look at Mike. Mike is well off, doing real estate.
Yeah.
Cleaners.
And I heard he just got a little situation for his life story. They might be doing so. That's congratulations on that, big homie. You know what I'm saying? I heard that. That's much success to him for that.
The key to this game, though, is transit. It's like there's a point where you have to make this transition. It's a difficult one, and everyone has to go through a transition. Whether you're Justin Bieber and you were a kid star and now you want to be an adult. Remember, he went to jail a lot. There's a transition period. Mm-hmm. Well, for a street cat, there's a transition period where somebody would say something to you and you used to go knocking on their door, but you can't no more.
Right.
And you have to just fall into it, and eventually you'll feel comfortable. And, you probably won't go to jail no more. You probably, but I would say that regardless, you can still always get killed because all it takes is 6 ounces of pressure and a sucker.
I mean, that's just like, and 6 ounces of pressure and some jealousy.
Yeah.
Just like what happened there. I got to take you back again, right? Now.
Pay me back, you, because you can do it. L.A. nigga. We West Side niggas for real, for real.
I'm looking at this
South Central.
Because I know if I got off this show and I didn't ask, we wouldn't be here. Ready?
Oh, shit. What?
Whose idea was to put Darlene on the cover, bro?
Mine. What happened was she was
Who chose the wardrobe?
Me. It was.
Can I just shake your hand?
It was part of the LA scene because if you remember,
I was gone.
Hey, yeah, that was a great album cover. It helped a lot of niggas.
It helped.
It helped a lot of niggas. Even LL said he took the album cover to the bathroom.
I don't even know if we can put it up, if we are capable of doing that. If this that type of show, we can put the album cover up.
It was one of them things. You know what it was, when we did the first album cover for Rhyme Pays, which was a play on Crime Pays, we shot her with the bathing suit and standing up in the car. But if you know LA had a car culture, and part of the lowrider culture was the girl in the car. So we're going to do power. I got Glenn Friedman. I said I want to show the power of sex, the power of weapons, and the power of deception.
Now, how old was you when you was older when you...
Yeah, like 28, grown.
Because that was a cold one.
Yeah, so I said, what we're going to do, we'll shoot it like this. First thing you see is her, power of sex. Then you see the weapons, power of guns. You turn it over, it's the power of deception. Like we were strapped.
Exactly.
So it's not the nigga who you think did it, it's the nigga that told him to do it. That's the real danger. Everybody looking at Darlene's ass. And it was a big thing to do it. But I didn't know you could lie on album covers. I didn't know you could lie in hip-hop at that time.
Right.
I didn't know you could use girls that weren't yours. I didn't know you could use cars that weren't yours. I got a rhyme where I say I don't rhyme about girls I ain't caught, cars I ain't bought, or guns I ain't shot. The game to me's too fucking deep. If I did, I honestly believe I'd die in my sleep. So I didn't know that you could make up shit. So everything you ever saw was mine, the jewelry was mine, and the girl was mine. And now, what was my fear? other niggas liking my bitch. I don't want no bitch that nobody wants. I mean, that was just part of being a player. You know, you want a girl nobody wants? So, yeah, look at her. Take a look, nigga. Go get you one, nigga.
Ice-T did it again.
You know what? But
this nigga stay with the jury, the bitches, he keep killing it.
But that was just part of the whole thing.
Right.
And now it's normal. Niggas got bitches taking shits on album covers and G-strings and everything. And also, you got to also remember, Luke and them was doing it. 2 Live Crew.
Yeah, and
Yeah, Luke was doing it, but not like that. That was a very solid album cover that meant
classy.
something. And white on white, and we also embossed it so you could feel it. But also,
you did?
Yeah, that was one of.
That was a jail. I only got the picture of the picture.
Also, that was when album covers meant something.
You embossed it?
Yeah, embossed that shit, nigga. You that shit. Power.
Listen, I'm old enough. I'm just old enough to remember the old Ohio Player magazine. I mean,
Be 'em. And that was power, man.
So that leads us to the book that you write. And,
Well, it's my 3rd book. My first book was called The Ice Opinion, Who Gives a Fuck? I wrote that maybe 20 years ago. And I would say in every chapter, and that's my opinion on religion, who gives a fuck? And that's my opinion on education, who gives a fuck? My last one was called Ice, a memoir of gangster life and redemption from South Central to Hollywood. And that talks about some of the lessons I've learned. The new one is called Split Decision. And that's written between me and one of my crimies named Spike, who were together, and you get to go on some of these licks with us. It's wild. So when I'm telling the story, niggas like, yeah, Ice, well, you're going to hear half the lick, and then he'll take the lick. And say, then Ice did this, and then. So it's all validated, and then there's a point where I said, I'm done, everybody. I can't do it no more. I'm going to stick with this music. There's a moment I had, I did my other book, it's called Too Famous to Steal. You want to hear this funny story?
yeah.
So I had a Porsche. Remember, I was always famous for Porsche. I actually pulled up in a Porsche. I love Porsches. And I had a convertible, and I needed a part for it because it was a Targa that we turned into a convertible. And niggas, they had a G, but they wouldn't bring me the parts. So I'm over at Irvin's shop, and I'm like.
So a G, for everybody who don't know,
is a Grand Theft Auto, a G ride. So they say, I say, where's the fucking part? Oh man, we gonna get it. I'm like, nigga, I need it. Man, show me where the car is. So I got the ratchet set. I'm gonna go do it. So and it's in the jungle. So the jungle are all these apartment buildings that got pools filled with cement in the middle of them. And you walk right through them to the back where the cars are parked in these alleys. So I walk through it, and there's a car with a car cover over it. I pull the car cover, I get ratchet. All of a sudden, like 10 kids came out with cameras. Ice-T, Ice-T. I'm like this. Ice-T, can I get a picture? They see me in breaking. Now, when I came through the place, they must have saw me. Now their parents come out. Man, I'm standing in front of a stolen car, taking pictures with all these goddamn kids. They must have thought this was my car. I get the part. I finish the lick. I call niggas up. This car cannot be here in the morning, man. I don't give a fuck. Y'all niggas got to move this car. And that was the last night I broke the law. I said, I'm too famous to steal, man. This right here, no more. And so I had a meeting with the homies, and I said, look, man, it's in the book. I said, I can't do it no more. I said, and not only that, I want y'all to treat me like I'm bugged. Don't say nothing to me. Don't tell me about nothing. I can't know anything. I want to be able to pass a polygraph. I don't want to know. The cops know about me. They know that I'm connected. They told LP Ice-T lives with a den of thieves. So they know who we are, the syndicate. They know what's up. I cannot break the law. They haven't caught me yet. I ain't trying to do nothing. And everybody respected it. But one of my partners, Spike, so I got him on tour and everything, and he sent some gangbangers. Now, we weren't using gangbangers. We were using professionals. He took some young kids and told them to go on this lick. We always had a theory, if a nigga come running up on you, shoot him in his ass. You know, shoot him his ass. Don't none of this. Shoot him his ass. You know, he'll drop him, but don't shoot nobody. During the lick, one of these kids shot somebody and killed him, which caused him to catch the mastermind case, and which is worse than the people who actually did it. And he ended up getting 26 years. Well, he got 35. He got 35 to life. He got 10. Then they 25. Then they enhanced it, and they gave him 35 to life, and he could not appeal it. So he did 25. He ran scared straight programs all over California, and then he got out on his first time at the parole board, which has never happened. So 26 years. And the book is about us, him making that one decision, him splitting during my entire career. You'll hear me doing New Jack City, him on the Grey Goose going to Folsom. You know, me getting this award, him coming down from Susanville. So, and then him getting out. Now he's with me again. Right. And it's a cautionary tale that lets you know everything you do in life, that one split decision can change the total trajectory of your life. So think about your moves.
And that coming out when? Is it out?
No, it's at the editor, and the editor at Simon & Schuster said it's a masterpiece. So we're gonna, because that's what I want to do now. I want people to know where I'm from, but now I want you to know where you can land. Right. You know, I talk at penitentiaries, I talk at juvenile facilities, I talk at colleges. I was a troubled person, man. I was doing everything, you know, trying to get money and this, that, and the third. Until I changed my life, good things didn't start happening to me. When I changed my life, when I don't have no, like, I'm going to say this right now. I can't lie to you. I can't steal from you. I can't do anything wrong. I feel if I do that, I'll die. I feel I'll suffer instant karma. Right. I feel, because I've been so blessed.
Instant karma.
Instant karma. Because I've been so blessed. I got a beautiful wife. I got a beautiful kid. Niggas will do low all around me. I'm like, yo, I know me. As soon as my mind goes into that dark place, I'm looking at death. I think something will happen to me. So, you know, I can't, man. I've been too lucky. I got away. I'm free. You know, I've had a great life. Why would I break the law now or cross a nigga or do low?
How many kids you got? How many kids and grandkids you got?
I have my daughter, which I had in high school, little Ice, who I had with Darlene when I was first becoming Ice-T. He's 30 years old now. And now I have a 5-year-old daughter, Chanel, who is absolutely the best shit that ever happened in my life, because when a man has a child after 50, it resets your life. You got to get in shape. You got to stay alive. You got to stay healthy. I got to live. The first thing when I saw Chanel born, you know what came to my mind? You can't die, nigga.
Right.
You can't die. So
you gotta be here.
I got to be here. And this is the first kid I've been really present with. You know, I was there for the whole pregnancy. She still sleeps in the bed with us. You know, so total refocus of life. And
it's different being a father and going through fatherhood at a later age.
Absolutely. Because
at an early age, you still, you know, you're still in the grind.
You're still in the grind. You're not focusing. It's usually presence over presence. Mm-hmm. You know, my kid always had the best sneakers. I remember my daughter was living in the jungle with her mom's one time, and I wanted to take her to buy some sneakers. So I pick out some blue sneakers. I can't wear them. Right. What you talking about? I live in the jungle, Daddy. So that's another. It's like, even though she's not a gang member, she's held by gang politics.
Right. Yeah.
You know. So, yeah.
So, and then too, raising a child when you have a lot of money, opposed to raising a child when you was in the struggling age, because your first two, you was still struggling to get it.
Yeah, my second one, I was having money, but there's nothing worse than a kid wanting something and you not being able to provide. Right. You know, so when I had my first kid, yeah, we was hustling for Pampers, you know, but people don't like people talking about money, and yes, money creates options. It allows you to do it. Money makes it easier not to say. Nothing can really stop you. Like, if you ain't got no money, you can only get as far as you can walk.
Right.
Get a little money, you can get you a skateboard. A little more money, you can get a bike. A little more money, you can get in a cab. A little more money, you can get on a bus. A little more money, you can get on a plane. A little more money, you can charter a plane. See what I'm saying? So your limits start to go with more money. You have more options. Nothing can really stop you because you just throw money at it. You know, girls used to say, well, why now you fucking with new bitches? You was just fucking. I said, this because I didn't have no money. I could only get across the street. I couldn't get nowhere. Now I can get to Europe. You know what I'm saying? My options have increased, you know? So, but that's real.
But I got a question for you, because I ain't never really seen where you ain't never, I mean, maybe I missed it.
Mm-hmm.
Where you messed with like the mega star, the mega female star. I ain't never seen that, have you?
No, I make them stars. I'm not.
You ain't never went to go just bag like a Janet Jackson
No,
or
too much. I'd rather, you know, I'm a car nigga, so I'd rather take a nice car and fix it up. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'm looking for untouched gold, somebody that's, because sometimes you can look at a girl and be like, that's a bad bitch right there. She just ain't got no money.
like a Jay-Z and a Beyonce. All right.
But she was already Beyonce. She was already Jay-Z and Beyonce. Well, he was in the studio, so he looked over and like said, "I've got to handle this business right here," you know. But no, I never dealt with stars or anything. That's not really my style. I mean, Ice-T always does his own thing. Like when niggas start going left, I go right. I don't really like when niggas got in rap. That's when I was trying to get out of rap.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I'm really glad I'm not in the midst of this wildness now with the internet. The internet is crazy.
Yeah.
I don't. Back in the day, if you diss me, only us would know. Now 1 million people know. So niggas like, what you gonna do? You know, right. Like it's a bigger situation. So nah. I'm cool. I've been married now going on 21 years. You know, I've had my ups and downs, but I try to keep it to myself and enjoy life. You know, because those people that look for perfection will never be happy.
That's so like the internet. It's an old situation, but how you feel about how they dealt with the baby?
What baby?
The baby, the little rapper that was on. They talked about that.
See, with him saying this stuff about gay people?
Yeah. Well, not about how he said it, because
how they dealt with the press?
How they dealt with him. Because
the thing of it is that what Baby said, rappers were saying for years.
Yeah.
But now it's a new era. And somebody was supposed to say they're very sensitive right now and these types of comments aren't allowed. You know what I'm saying? What he did not make up, put your hands in the air if you ain't got this or that. Rappers been, but now everything is different and they're on your bumper. Mm-hmm. And you could probably go through some of my old records and see some stuff that might not be, proper.
You definitely can through all of us.
At this point. But you just have to be aware. And when I went through my bullshit, I had Minister Farrakhan called me, Chuck D, Ice Cube, and Sister Soldier in. And he made it clear to us that, if you step in the street, expect to get hit by a car. And that's why I wrote freedom of speech, just watch what you say. And what that means is we have the right to say anything, but you got to be prepared for the ramifications of what you say. So if you say something about gay people, get ready for them to attack. I said something about cops, get ready for them to attack. You just can't go on to your girl, I fucked your sister, free speech. There's gonna be some ramifications.
But I feel like they ran him in the dirt, though. I feel like.
Now, what is it, Baby or Little Baby?
It's the Baby.
The Baby.
The Baby. I feel like.
That's the one who had that was it. I only watched it a little bit.
They took the Lollapalooza. They took everything from. That's the one that kind of was like more like the Ludacris.
Did he? But at the end, he clarified his position, right?
He clarified. He's attempted to steal to this day.
No. That's not what you do. You apologize once.
He apologized more than once.
No, you apologize once. You make it clear what you say. Like with Cop Killer, I said, look, Cop Killer was a protest record written from the point of view of someone who was fed up with police brutality. It was not me asking people to go after the police. That's all it was. It was an artistic record, and that's it. And then anybody else asks me about it, I say, my position has been stated. I've stated my position.
See, they was killing the kid. They killing
because when more you reply, the more they can twist every fucking reply you make and turn it and spin it and say it. This is what Minister Farrakhan taught us. You state your position, and then you back away from it. It's just like with your wife. What happened? This is what happened, and I'm not talking about it
no more. Oh, that is the truth.
Because every time they bring it back up, remember what I said? I told you, you know what I felt. That's it. Every time you bring it up, you're trying to find another angle to hit me to catch. When I do interviews with people, though, I really quickly determine whether they're friends or foes. Remember I was talking about shit lists? I see if are they trying to angle me? Are they out to take me out? Baby, and all these new rappers just have to be cautious. This is what I say. If you look at me, I'm like, Ice-T will say anything. That nigga will say any motherfucking thing. Don't it sound like it?
Not really.
Well, I will. People be like, this nigga will say any motherfucking thing, but I know what the fuck not to say. Right. You see what I'm saying? So it's not just, people like keeping it real. Keeping it real will get you fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta...
So what happened with the Dr. Dre and the verses?
That was just a comment I made. I said, you know, I know Dre, and they've been bugging Dre to do verses, and I know that he had the Super Bowl on his mind. So it wasn't really dissing Swizz and them. I love Swizz. He's been a friend for years. It wasn't meant to be like that. You can misconstrue it like Ice is saying, fuck verses. I love verses. My favorite verses was the Isley Brothers. That was some
that shit was hard.
That shit was hard. But
that was hard.
I love the verses, but that's a
who won, though?
Well, I'm going to go with Isley Brothers anyway, because I got men. That Heat Is On album, that B-side, with Every Day. If you played that whole side and she ain't gave you none, take her home.
Yeah.
Take her home. That motherfucker was so butters.
That shit was hard.
But nah, man, I just know Dre right now has his mind set on the Super Bowl, and that's all. He'll do verses down the road, but that wasn't the intent. But see, they make it into the intent. Ice-T came out and said, "Fuck all verses," and he don't like verses, and he hates. I did not say that.
No, I knew exactly what you meant by you. Like, look, man, it's big.
The fucking Super Bowl is the biggest shit in the world.
That's big for rap, though.
It's in Inglewood.
It's big.
It's the shit. And it's what Dre deserves. It's what he deserves, man. Because, I mean,
I love Dre, bro.
For years and years and years, he's been putting it in. His track record is unfuckwithable, you know, and. You know, he's always been a solid dude with me.
And now he been, you know what's thinking about Dre and you and other people. For me, I'm talking about for me now personally, because Dre and you and Snoop snapped anew straight out of prison at my worst time, when the world was really trying to shit on me and isolate me about the Nipsey shit, and for you, Dre, Snoop, and a couple of people lend your name. And Jay-Z to the project, to my project, to Hip Hop Uncover, was big to me. And it was big for me to be able to move into progression or do other things, positive things, and to really recognize the work that I've been doing. Because you know, Dre know, y'all know, if I was really on that, LA would really be
it'd be a problem.
Place.
Yeah.
But Dre gave us the music. Jay-Z gave us the music. You gave us your likeness, your life. You didn't ask for a dime. You know what I mean? So that just really shows people what hard work to do. Because when I was in the pen, I was actually teaching that.
Right.
I was a teacher. You know what I mean? I could have been selling and doing all kind of things. I hustled while I was in there too. But I could have been a whole lot of different things and came home and been something different. But Dre recognized that. You recognized that. Snoop recognized that. Because y'all really the West Coast.
But see, the thing of it is, whatever you doing in life, niggas know.
Right.
So I don't even got to talk to you because I know people that know you and is around you. So they like, you's on the one, you know, like you say, Sleep. I see him out there. He's out on the road with Korn. Right. So we're touring together. So everybody like Draws is trying to get, Draws is trying to pull the hood together. So I know. Versus I get a phone call from some nigga from the left I don't know nothing about. I'm not answering. I'm like, who are you, cuz? How you get my number, cuz? So you family in a way. Right. You know what I'm saying? Through all my friends and people that we know have mutual acquaintances. So, I'm fucking with you. Why wouldn't I? I wouldn't fuck with you if I knew you was on that bullshit.
Right.
Because I don't want to be associated with that. And the blowback from that was really instantaneous. Like, nigga, why you with that nigga? Whoop-de whoop, whoop, whoop. Like, yeah, fuck you, nigga. I'm with who I fucking want to be with.
Right.
You know? But, you know, God bless you, man. You're trying to do the right. It's easy to tell. It's easy to tell.
You know what I'm saying? And you know who else I gotta get? Ice Cube.
Cube's real, nigga.
It's Cube, and I don't think people understand the history of Cube and that W.
Yeah.
Because it was bad for us from the west side, young niggas. When the east side niggas could come say, nah, we come over there and take their bikes. We come over there and do all this other shit. You know what I'm saying?
Snoop is throwing up east side, and then we like west side. You know,
Cube, man. Cube
Yeah,
put
he
the
put
W on the back.
and Dub C.
Yeah, real talking Dub, man. And that's the difference that people don't catch.
Well, see, here's something people don't know. Cube ain't from Compton.
No, he ain't.
Cube's from 111, right?
Yes, sir.
So that's South Central.
That's the West Coast. That's the West.
So
That's us.
even though he put Compton on Mac, he really from our neighborhood.
Yeah.
So, you know,
down the street.
once again, like I say, LA niggas know. And the thing about life is no matter who you think you are, niggas know who you are. So
Right.
you might think you the coolest motherfucker, but niggas be like, that nigga's corny as fuck. You know what I'm saying? So your theory of who you are doesn't matter. I think 50 Cent said it best. He said, no man could be great alone. You're only great when other great men speak of you in high regard. So it's not really who I am, it's how people refer to me. And whether they say Ice is solid, Ice is a sucker, Ice is whatever they feel. Usually if a nigga call me a bitch, he's very much a bitch himself. That's probably why he can't understand this real ism. It bothers him. You know, fake niggas really have a problem around real niggas. Because we'll check them real quick.
Hold on. I gotta hear that again, because that's my problem.
They have
Hold on, what a goddamn camera at? Which camera we looking at?
They have a problem.
Yeah, man.
Because it bothers their existence. You know, a fake nigga doesn't have any reference point to real. He's always been faking the funk. He's always been lying. He's always been full of shit. I never understood how niggas could go on Instagram, speaking of social media, and lie, and all their friends know that they ain't really living like that. But they lie, and all their friends like the picture.
Yeah.
It's like a group of fucking fake-ass niggas. They run in bunches. I wish I would put something up. My niggas be like, nigga, that ain't your shit. Like, you know, my niggas gonna keep me 100. They can't. I got niggas in the pen that'll send a kite out. Ice, knock it off.
Yeah, but another thing they don't know, I know that people should know about you is how many people you take care of in the pen, even to this day. Like, to this day.
At this moment,
like, you.
I'm taking care. I mean, Smiley, CeeLo, Harlem. Right now, honestly, actively about 4 people but they're never coming home. You know, there's a new thing out called JPay.
Yeah.
You know what JPay is?
I got it on my phone.
You put your credit card in and then it just pays.
Buddy.
But Ralph just came home. Shaky just came home. A lot of my guys are finally coming home. You know, so I only got about 4 people in there now stuck. You know, thing of it is a lot of times these people catch cases and see, they think, oh, you got a wealthy friend. You could bury yourself in prison so much, nothing can get you out until you get to a parole board. Am I right?
Yes,
There's nothing that can help you. I can put all the money on the books. I can take care of your family, but you can't get out until you wiggle your way to that parole board.
Yeah.
And then we can send some lawyers and get you out. But the theory, oh, that nigga's rich, he could get you. Who the fuck you think I am? Obama? Nigga, I can't just pardon a nigga like it don't work like that. And if you still, you know, wilding out every time they let you on the yard, you want to push steel up in somebody, you know, you may never get home, man.
Hey, man, is Trump going to win again?
Can't fuck with that nigga, man.
Is he going to win this next one, though?
Trump is a wild son of a bitch, man. That nigga's wild. That nigga said grab him in the pussy. I've hung around pimps, players, and hustlers my whole life. I ain't never heard a nigga say you just grab him in the pussy. I never, the most dirtiest, low-down nigga, I've never heard a nigga say, just grab a bitch in the pussy. Grab her ass, not the pussy. Who does that? That nigga's ill. That nigga's borderline R. Kelly. That nigga, see, certain people when they get so rich, they just feel they can do any motherfucking thing. Trump got a God complex. Trump is wild as a motherfucker, man. You
Hey,
see
but-
how you send them white boys at the motherfucking Capitol?
Hey, yeah,
I ain't do that. I didn't say them, but yeah, if they don't like me, you niggas should start some shit. Niggas should tear up some shit if they fuck with me. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, down the street's a good place to start.
He was hard for that.
That nigga's ill.
He was hard for that.
You like Trump? Trump's a gangster.
Trump man.
Trump will be ill.
But look, check
you
Trump
like
out.
you like his gangster.
Oh, but wait though. How come was this 15 years ago?
You know World Star gonna put that clip.
I
like Trump.
No, I don't like.
I like Trump. I had to put a beat behind it.
I like. Listen, but like you said, listen.
Watch what you say.
I like the
Freedom
rhetoric
of
that
speech.
Trump do, man.
Watch
I like
it.
the rhetoric. Look, but 15 years ago, 20 years ago, niggas was all on this boat.
Yeah, because we
Niggas
like
was getting high with him, ride with him, fucking bitches with him.
we like the niggas like Trump because we thought Trump represented well.
Trump is going. Trump, that motherfucker. Trump, man, if it was a bunch of pigs and donkeys gonna give him votes, Trump gonna be a pig and a donkey. He gonna be
He's an opportunist. He's a smart.
Exactly.
He's a savvy motherfucker. He's a scandalous motherfucker. He's a racist motherfucker. But he's not somebody I could really fuck with. Like you see my tweet for today? I don't fuck with people that fuck with people I don't fuck with. So it's like, it's like I don't fuck with people that fuck with people I don't fuck with.
Gotcha.
So I mean, fuck Trump. He's another weirdo. He's a narcissist. He's got a God complex. He's extremely wealthy, and he feels like he can do whatever. I don't know if that's the right person to run this country.
But he put white people where he showed you where they at in this country.
Oh, he exposed them.
Oh, for sure.
Well, Chris Rock said it best. The pendulum swings. So it went from Bush to Clinton, who was smoking weed and getting head in the motherfucking Oval Office. Black
And
president.
fucking with Epstein.
Right.
Epstein. What's his name?
Yeah.
Epstein?
So he was wild. He was black. Then it swung back over the son of a Bush, right? Then it swung from Bush to Obama, right? Then it swung from Obama back to Trump. So he said the only place left for it to swing is Jesus. But hey, politics. I'm not really tripping off of them. I just pay more taxes every year, regardless of who the fuck's the president. So
yeah, so
that's how that falls.
We finna hit you with these rapid six, right? So we got these questions.
Is there any reason it's 6?
It's 6 because Doe wrote 6.
It's them 6 O's again. Here we go
No.
again. He's gangbanging on
Okay,
me
no,
again.
I ain't wrote the 6. It used to be rapid 10. Now, if y'all got a problem with that, him and Doe went to Crenshaw. Him and Doe went to Hawaii. Him and Doe.
I'm banging on
Him
you
and
niggas
Doe had.
neighborhood. Come on with the big
him
6
and Doe
O's.
Him and Doe had the history of the being liked by the women with the all that. I ain't had it. I was a big bad gorilla, so
Okay.
I ain't had that. You know what I'm saying? That's him and Doe.
Really though.
Yeah, him and Doe had that.
Really though.
So, look at it. They throw their hands up. He over here throwing his hands up. Ice over here throwing his hands up.
Hey, hey man,
There you go. And you hear it? You hear the tone of their voice? That's that player shit.
Man, I got a player from Vegas, man. The player's name is Ooh Wee. That's a pimp name.
Ooh Wee.
Ooh
Yeah,
Wee. You know Ooh Wee?
Yeah, I know Ooh Wee.
You can't get a colder name than Ooh Wee.
I know Ooh Wee.
See, pimps ain't named Bullet or Trigger. They named Butter. They made Cotton. They made Ooh Wee. Ice. They got something that comes off the tongue real smooth, But anyway, let's get back to this
name
6.
really
the rolling
is
60.
Ooh Wee.
Let's get back to the real nigga named Ooh Wee. I don't
Ooh Wee.
lie.
That was Ooh Wee.
I don't lie. Here we go. Rolling 60.
Rapid 6. The Rapid 6, man. It's 1980. We in LA. We checking in with Ice-T, man. Where we going? Where we going to eat? Off the plane.
You coming into LA? 1980. I probably take you directly out of the hood. I probably take you down Crenshaw, let you see, the mortuary and all that kind of shit right there on Crenshaw. But I probably take you up into Hollywood, get you some chicken and waffles, something like that. You know what I'm saying? Just show you around LA. I would immediately try to show you the nice part of LA. That's what I would do.
Okay, what you got playing in the what's in the tape deck? Because what is 8-track then?
In the 80s?
No, not 8-track. It would be a tape.
Parliament.
Parliament in the 80s.
Yeah.
Okay, Parliament.
Well, yeah. We've been in the 80s. We've been playing a lot of Parliament, a lot of. I think 70. Well, that's early 70s, right? That was the brass construction and jazz band and James Brown and funk. Because hip hop was just starting to happen. So if I was listening to hip hop, I would probably be listening to Houdini or some Run DMC, things of that nature.
Okay, where we going to eat at?
I said we gonna take you Roscoe's or something like that, or I might just be cheap and stop at Denny's on Crenshaw. Get you a Grand Slam, nigga. Keep it moving.
Where we going shopping at?
Fox Hill Mall, definitely. Fox Hill Mall. We call that Gladiator School for boosters. That's the first place you take somebody to learn how to shoplift.
What party we going to? What?
Uncle Jam's Army. No, that's 70s. See,
The 80s.
The 80s.
80s, Uncle Jam Army.
Yeah, we go to 80s. We go do Uncle Jam's Army or Bay 5.
Playpen, yeah.
Yeah. The Playpen.
Playpen.
Workshop.
Yeah, workshop.
Woo! Workshop. That was some deep shit down Western. That shit was dark as a motherfucker. They had a room in the workshop that was dark. There was nothing in it. It was just black. You just go in there. I don't know what you did to the girls. My boy said he was in there and he was talking to a nigga all night and the lights came on and the nigga was dead. He said he thought he heard a nigga say, huh. Workshop.
Hold up. It's okay. We a big sports fans, man. Who your sports team in LA? 80s.
Back then, of course, we were fucking with the Lakers and the Raiders. With the LA Raiders, right?
Yep,
and honestly, when people see us in the Raiders gear, we wore Raiders because it was a neutral color. It was black. When it moved to Oakland, we fuck with the LA Raiders. You know what I'm saying? And that's why we wore the Raiders shit, because it wasn't blue or red. Then I met Raider from Santana Block. He's like, oh, that black nigga, we Santana Block. I'm like, they wear black.
They are. They are. Remember the early 80s, the sports jackets everybody had. We was the 76ers. We was the Sixers. We were Raiders too. So we was anything that's gonna say Sixers.
Well, that's where the hood hats came from. All the different neighborhoods started to wear different hats. For different. Hoover took the H from Houston.
Yep. That's how you identify yourself. And that's another thing with checking in, because people need to know what you're wearing. You need to know if you're in LA and you got a certain hat on, you just claim something.
See, if you come from LA, if you're not from LA and you ran into a gang problem, all you have to say is, I'm not in a gang.
Right.
I'm from out of town. Gang members are looking for the opponent. They're looking for the enemy. Mm-hmm. They might rob you. They might do some shit to you, but they're not gonna kill you. They're not. They're looking for me to set trip. They were looking to say, "What's up, cuz?" and I'm both bang back on them. That's what they're looking for. So if you just say, "Hey man, I'm a civilian from out of town," they might check you. Come up out all that red, nigga. Or something like that. But I remember one time I was with Houdini. And we were at an event in Long Beach. It's not the time they rioted, but we came out to go around. I think it was one of the early Fresh Fests. And we came out. We got surrounded by some crips. And they was asking a bunch of motherfucking questions. And I'm like, yo, man, this Houdini, like this, that, and the third. I'm trying to talk my way out of it. That nigga like, yeah, nigga. Yeah, you niggas got money, nigga. We ain't got no money. I'm like, oh, this is going bad, right? So then Drew had a chain on, and I'm like, oh shit, these niggas is eyeballing the chain and stuff like that. And I just start backing out of the conversation. I'm like, all right, you niggas, yo, we got to keep it moving. And we just escaped, but it was getting ready to be ugly because I was out of bounds. I don't know, none of them insane niggas. Iced tea would have been food, and it can happen.
You got to handle some business. And then you got to leave somebody with me. Who two homies you gonna have roll with me while you gonna take care of the business?
Who's gonna roll with
you? Yeah, who you gonna have? Who your two trusted in the 80s?
Yeah, I probably would have left you with Nelsie and Janelle.
Two trusted. I totally agree with them. But before we leave, I got one incident I want to remind you of. I remember 87. Mm-hmm. I forgot what song you had on, but you and Darlene came to Hollywood Live on Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah.
We get into it with some dudes on the front. No, my cousin was security. Mm-hmm. So Bruce Richardson and all my cousin them, all of us did martial arts together.
Yeah, Bruce is nasty.
Yeah, we all studied together. So
BKF?
BKF. Yeah, come from BKF.
Steve Sanders.
Mr. Muhammad. Suju. And so
we talking that LA shit.
Yeah. So Bruce and them went in the back and then Bruce left. So Alvin and them get into with some dudes in the front. You just had walked in the club, you and wifey. And then we coming up and I'm standing in the porch talking to you. So something happened. And then they start getting it, they start jacking it up.
Right.
They shoot the whole thing up. I run you and Darlene into the club, and then we come back out, and it's about 100 shells on each side of the street.
Yeah, that was a normal night in L.A.
Yeah, and they had the video games at inside.
Right, L.A. Live, right?
No, it was
Hollywood Live. Yeah. You know what? Every L.A. night could end up with a gun shootout.
It was damn near.
Because inside the club, like, you know, they might, at that time, they were starting the metal detectors, but everything is in the trunks, you know? And when niggas got outside, I would always try to leave before shit popped off.
Yeah.
You know, my famous saying was, let's go before they start shooting.
He was too late.
And there was so many nights where I was at, thank you, by the way, for saving me that night. Because I was not, I wasn't gangbang. I wasn't with it. You know, the shit be moving like.
No, they wasn't on you though.
I know, but the bullet don't got no name when them niggas start getting off.
Because you was on your way out.
You might have just said no,
and I'm
nigga.
like, nah, you don't want to leave right now.
Right.
And I'm like, no, bro, let's go this way. And I took right when I'm taking you back in there. That's when it got cracking.
I did a last question, and then we gonna go out and kill 5 niggas.
No, we not gonna go out and kill no niggas. But we gonna go out and get something to eat. And if it would have been 6. We ain't get 5.
6
You know what I'm saying?
He's banging on niggas every chance he can. It's all subliminal.
The V&G, though, you dig? The 5. So anyway.
How dare you ban this game?
Yeah.
Grandocious, funny ass story. I'm on tour, and the promoter wanted me to meet his mom. So I meet his mom. His mom's brought gumbo. So she made us eat the gumbo for lunch. I was going to perform. It's at a festival. I was going to perform at 6 o'clock. By 4 o'clock, I had full-blown diarrhea. Okay? So 6 o'clock, showtime. My music comes on, helicopters. I'm in a porta potty. And I hear my music come on. I got shorts on. I clench my ass. And I run across the muddy back field of the bench. And I rap. I went out. I grabbed the mic. The guy was waiting on the side of the stage. The mic. Took the mic. I did a 40-minute show with my butt cheeks clenched. In front of thousands of people. Came off. One fart would have been disaster. Niagara Falls came out, blah. So that's my granddocious story. I did not shit on stage.
That's only one.
You want one better than that?
No, we just need one. The granddocious.
That's granddocious.
The shit that didn't happen.
Yeah. Don't eat before live performances. Dude, I've been having fun talking to you. So, you know, it's always a treat when players meet, man.
Exactly.
And
see, now I'm officially a player.
Always have been. Oh shit. Rich rolling 60s. They were the one gang that was always about money.
Yes,
that's a difference. They was always about getting bread, and that's how they ended up hanging out. I ended up hanging out with so many of them because they came over to the cats. It was about paper, and 60 cats was getting money with us.
Once again, this is Big U. This is World Star Production, and we checking in with Big U and Ice-T.
And if you ever go to LA and you happen to know Big U, I advise you to check in. And if you don't know him, find somebody that does know him and check in.
Hey man, it's a pleasure to have it.
This nigga got some mitts. Let's get this straight. This is why this nigga's fist. Look at my fist. It look like a little baby fist. Look at this nigga.
Hey,
I shook Muhammad Ali's hands. He had big ass hands.
Yeah,
too.
he did.
Yeah, that's
great.
why he knocked you the fuck out, because his hand is
He
twice
was so
my
fast.
size. It's
He
like
was
I
fast,
got a
man.
25 and you got a 44 over there.
Yeah, I just got a picture. I just got a picture from his daughter, actual one of his autographed pictures from his daughter, man. She gave it to me. She sent it to me through her husband, man. I'm proud of that.
One of my idols.
I'm proud of that. So anyway, like I said, this is World Star. And this is Checking In with Big U and the legend.
I advise you to check in. Ready?
Yeah, man. See, what y'all don't understand is you got to check in, man. Everywhere I go, I check in, man. No, I don't get checked, I check in. It's a big difference, man. You gotta really understand what I'm saying.